Big task for Saints away at Newcastle. Your commentary team is Adam Blackmore and Joe Tessam as ever.
Thank you very much, Jono. There is an enormous flag, almost the size of the stand, away to my left, covering every single supporter in the large bottom tier with the language "We are Newcastle" written over it, just below those travelling Southampton fans. As the players walk out, black and white flags unfurled everywhere around the stadium. This is what the Southampton are up against this afternoon. Not just a very good team, but a city that expects, and a city on the up, and a club under Eddie Howe who are on the verge of returning to the Champions League and certainly finishing in the top four. They're looking for a third win in a week or so. They absolutely annihilated Spurs here, 5-0 up after 20 odd minutes last week. So many Saints fans will dread the worst here, but before a ball is kicked, there is no reason why we shouldn't imagine there is a scenario where Saints can repeat what they did at Arsenal and shock St James's Park like they shocked the Emirates 9 days ago. The players shake hands. Saints make 5 changes. The team that is going to start the game is McCarthy in goal, Lianco, Bednarek and Bella Kotchap the centre-backs. I think Gineppo and Walker-Peters the wing-backs. Ward-Prowse, Lavia and Stuart Armstrong in midfield. Possibly Alcaraz and Sulemana up front. As Ruben Sellers shakes hands with Eddie Howe beneath us. Howe and Tyndall stood as ever next to each other on the side of the pitch as the players strip off their tracksuit tops and they greet the officials. Anthony Taylor, the referee, this afternoon. Newcastle make 4 changes from the team that beats Everton. Byrne, Gordon, Murphy and Isaac come in for Target, Almir on Longstaff and Wilson. Pope in goal, Trippier, Schär, Botman and Byrne the back 4. Familiar back 5 for Newcastle. Injury to Longstaff means Willocks and Joelinton will play in midfield alongside Guimaraes. Murphy, Alexander Isak and Gordon comes in, I suspect, up front on the wing as well. Swan Jalal just comes past us, former Cherries keeper, now part of the staff here, working for Bournemouth. There's a lot of ex-Bournemouth here today, and Saints already sick of the sight of Bournemouth this week. And it's a trip down memory lane for a lot of those Newcastle staff coming up against Southampton, trying to beat Newcastle for the first time this season. They've only won 2 of the last 15 games against Newcastle in all competitions. And believe it or not, the last win for Southampton against Newcastle put Saints top of the Premier League table back in November 2020. How things have changed. Their last win here was 2-1 in January 2015. Eljero Elia scored twice after just arriving at the club. It's their only win here this millennium for Southampton, and they are up against history, they're up against form, and they're up against a better team and a St James's Stadium that expects Newcastle to sweep Saints aside like they swept Spurs aside a week ago here. As the players huddle both sides of halfway, Anthony Taylor breaks away from the ball on the centre circle and jogs over to the sideline. We're just behind the dugouts here this afternoon, 20 yards away. He has a quick word with the match manager, Anthony Taylor. Saints in their aqua blue tops, their white shorts, the roar from St James's Park as the players break their huddle. Looks like Anthony Gordon's going to start out on the left wing, Murphy on the right. Isak down the middle with Joelinton, Guimaraes and Willock, who's in great form, like Murphy is of late, of course, and Alexander Isak. What a dribble for that goal against Everton the other night from Isak. Should get more than an assist for it. But it's all on Southampton here. And they kick off playing from left to right with McCarthy blasting a long clearance up into the Newcastle half. Ball allowed to bounce as both Joelinton missed it and Alcaraz. And now Newcastle immediately try and play through Saints. Good interception from Bednarek just inside his own half. Now going down the left-hand side, Saints trying to attack, trying to get forward. Walker-Peters, that's nice play. Saints starting bright into Sulemana, pulls it back into the penalty area. Black and white shirts missed it, still not cleared. Walker-Peters shoots, and that's the first shot on target of the game for Southampton after seconds of the game, 35 of them. And that's a decent save by Pope down at his near post. That was a bright start, ending with that Carl Walker-Peters shot. Joe Tessam.
Yeah, good interception by Bednarek, who starts it and plays it quickly outside to Stuart Armstrong. Plays a little 1-2 for Walker-Peters.
And Saints attacking again. Here's Moussa Djenepo on the edge of the penalty area, pushed away by Bruno Guimaraes. Plays it back for Ward-Prowse, but he's asked him to do a lot. It's a poor pass from Djenepo, and Alexander Isak, the tall, gangly Swede, picks it up. Anthony Gordon halfway, strong challenge by Lianco. Ball out for a Newcastle throw. Jason Tindall throws the ball to Dan Byrne, all 6'8" of him, whatever he is. Should have got Big Paul on against him. Eddie Howe's black and white army is the cry around St James's Park. But Southampton have certainly started with some fire in their bellies, Joe Tessam, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, very good thing. And the team is 4-4-2, if you like, on there. But the only thing I got wrong was Stuart Armstrong and Djenepo is on opposite sides.
Well, let's see what happens then. Here comes Walker-Peters again, getting up early. There's a poor touch from Sulemana a couple of times now. Sulemana and Djenepo both ruined moves, but Southampton have won the ball back quickly, and that's encouraging. Ward-Prowse near the centre circle. Southampton in possession. Bednarek at the back with Bella Kotchap back in the team after being dropped against Bournemouth for disciplinary issues. And McCarthy, long clearance back into the Bournemouth half, into the Newcastle half even, on 3 days late. And Newcastle have control of the ball. Saints setting up. Looks like a back four, as Joe says. Lianco at the right back. Walker-Peters at left back. Djenepo on the right. Stuart Armstrong on the left. And that ball going down the outside for Newcastle. Looking for the run from Murphy. But well done, Alex McCarthy. Read it early. Came off and swept up the danger. And has the ball in his arms on the edge of the penalty area. 0-0. BBC Radio Solent in the 3rd minute at St James's Park. On the radio and online, on your smart speaker, on your phones. You can listen however you want this afternoon. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Solent. Find us online on BBC Sounds, and you can enjoy the game on the go wherever you are. Now Alcaraz, not fouled, tackled by Anthony Gordon, who come inside his own half. Guimaraes gets it back to Nick Pope, and Pope, no clean sheet for him, by the way, in the last 12 games. They haven't kept one. They're attacking down this near side. The referee's going to get an early card out here. Jan Bednarek booked for a foul on Joe Willett down in front of us.
Yeah, and that's sloppy from Bednarek. It's a little. The thing is, because Newcastle is set up in a 4-3-3, and Guimaraes is a very important holding play. What Guimaraes does in his role in sitting in front of the back four is he creates space at him, and that's when you don't know whether to go to him or not. But what happens is he gives more space on the side, and it was a lovely flick on, and Bednarek shouldn't be in that position on the left side to make a tackle, but he had to, because otherwise he would have been through at him.
Took one for the team.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be in that position that he has to take one for the team on the halfway line on the left-hand side, but he is.
Right, Newcastle had the ball, having taken that free kick beneath us. They moved it out to the other side of the pitch on the right, and Saints have broken it up. Good tackle out on that far side. Stuart Armstrong. Saints have possession, appealing referee for something, but they have the ball. They've got it out to Lianco on halfway. He comes forward, tries to play an early ball to Alcaraz and put way too much on it. That was what you call a heavy touch from Lianco, which goes all the way through to Nick Pope. So Newcastle, of course, we know they're in great nick, won 7 of their last 8. Haven't kept a clean sheet in 12, though, and that gives Saints some hope, despite being excellent. Their defensive record is the best in the Premier League still, Joe, it should be said. They've only shipped 26 goals, Newcastle, but they haven't kept a clean sheet for a long time. Shipped 3 at Villa, of course.
Yeah, but that is kind of the way when you play 4-3-3. You do give away space, and we saw that in the first minute when we got a chance, Adam.
Lianco didn't foul Anthony Gordon, says the referee, and the other Anthony was right on top of it. And the Ward-Prowse gets it to Djenepo. It's a fierce pace to the game. The Saints playing their part in it so far, and they've won a throw midway inside the Newcastle half. Beneath us, on this near side, we're about, like I said, probably 10 yards or so behind the dugouts, just raised up behind them.
And what I like today, Adam, is that Stuart Armstrong, which is on the left side, not on the right side, is holding the width a little bit more, and the same thing with Gineppo. And I think we got Sulemana in his best position there in the middle up front, and kind of with Alcaraz as a duo. But you know that swaps around a little bit.
Saints going on the offensive, need wins. And that's a good clearance from Alex McCarthy, and Alcaraz got given a great ball on halfway, and then he sloppy pass gave it away. Newcastle have it back. Maybe they're a bit surprised how Saints have come out this afternoon, Joe, and I think they're just taking time to get used to it. Newcastle, I think they expected to see Southampton in a 3 like we did, and they'll just be working everything out. But they've certainly got their own formation, as you said, 4-3-3, with Guimaraes going long now over the top for Murphy again, coming in off that right hand side, but Walker Peters attracting all the way anyway, and it was safely dealt with by McCarthy at the back in his all purple gear with his bright orange boots and his white gloves, and he clears it out, and Saints have given it up, and it's back with Guimaraes in the middle of the park. Him and Joe Ellington, Joe, from a distance look identical with their blonde hair.
Do you think they go 2 for 1?
Yeah, that's right. Here's Gordon, who has been terrible as a player since he bleached his hair at Everton, no doubt about it. Something that I've been thinking for months. He looks terrible with his bleached hair, and he's been playing badly. He's in the team today. It's only his 3rd start since he's arrived. £45 million in January. Lavia's done brilliant. Played a great ball as well. Alcaraz just can't get there before it's swept up by Fabian Schär, but Romeo Lavia just roamed past 2 or 3 Newcastle players. And Saints having a right go at Newcastle here in these early stages, but Murphy's done well, and then he's got the ball out to this left-hand side to Gordon. He's got Lianco backtracking into his penalty area from the left-hand side, hits the side netting with a left foot shot. Crowd appreciate it, didn't touch the goalkeeper, didn't touch the defender, but who was at fault there, Joe? Was there any fault? Was Lianco tucked in too much or not?
Well, the fault for me starts when we have decent play in midfield. It ends up with I think when Lavios have the ball, and I'm expecting Gineppo to make the run in behind. That's what you want. You want the wingers to make, and it kind of ends up to Alcaraz, who has to run the long way, and it's an awkward run for him, and then we lose the ball, and because Alcaraz has made a run, there's a hole in the middle, and then that's when Gordon has the space on the side. So it becomes because we are attacking in the wrong way, Adam.
But there shouldn't be a hole in the middle, because Alcaraz is playing as a striker. There's still
but he plays a little bit deep, and with the width we have, and that gives it the space to the wingers, and Gordon had like the whole way to run up.
Yeah, so Saints are almost playing everybody like 4-6, but it's 4-4-2 with Sulemana and Alcaraz up front, or 4-5-1 maybe with Alcaraz behind Sulemana. But now they've got the ball back as well. Good work that time from Sulemana, and Stuart Armstrong can break on Newcastle. Left-hand edge of the penalty area, he's got blue shirts flooding in, he shoots at Pope, who parries it back into the box. Newcastle get lucky because the ball ends up with a black and white shirt and cleared away up to halfway as Bella Kotchak tussles with Isak, and it goes through to Bednarek. Good work from Saints, again on the counter.
Good turnover there, and you've got to take advantage of it, and Stuart Armstrong does it. Has a good shot, but there's the problem. We get a rebound. Clear striker, we need that in the middle to pick up the second ball, so shots, anything. We need to get in the box at it, we need to gamble to get it, to score. Not on the first shot, but on the second one.
Good play from Saints though, giving us something
very
to
good play
on.
Very good play.
Stuart Armstrong scored in Saints' last win back in November 2020 when they went top against Newcastle, but they're defending again now. Anthony Gordon step over, goes on the outside down the left, pulls it back into the 6-yard area. Armel Bella Kotchak was in the right place to clear it away, but it's Newcastle's first corner of the afternoon. Away to our left-hand side, the Gallagher end away to our right, of course, and those Saints fans way up to our left. Great effort from them, Joe. Looking at that end packed up there.
Fantastic, Adam. And then we need the support. The players need that support, Adam. So fair play to all the Saints fans that has travelled today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday.
Corner. On the left-hand side, Trippier, an ever-present, played every game at 32 years of age, starting every match in the Premier League. Takes a short one with Anthony Gordon, and they made a real hash of it actually. Gineppo almost broke. Sulemana almost broke, I should say, and he couldn't quite get the ball off Trippier, who showed good strength. He's got his own pace, of course, Trippier. So we'll see. Newcastle in possession on the right-hand side. Saints having to defend again as Newcastle switch from right to left. Here's Anthony Gordon twisting and turning once more, pulls it back, heads go up, comes back out for the volley, it's somehow wide. For all money around the stadium, it looked like that was going to be smashed into the net. And luckily for Southampton, Bruno Guimaraes, who scored, of course, at St Mary's in Ralph's last game in Newcastle's 4-1 win, got it wrong, and it's a goal kick to Southampton. But that's the most pressure they've been under, Joe.
Yeah, and again we have problem. Gordon is causing us all sorts of problems here. But Narek has been involved in it. Lianco's been involved there, but it's too much space. And you know what? When you play 4-3-3 and you put a few balls in behind, you create space, Adam. Even though it's poor ball and it goes back to McCarthy, you create space, you create that uncertainty, or you move the defenders, and that's created that space that Gordon needs. He comes on the left, perfect cross, and Guimaraes should have scored.
The other question about them playing like this with the fours, again they look to take advantage of Lianco, but it's overhit for Willock. He'll keep it in on this near side. Genepo's back there defending. No pressure on Byrne behind him, and he's done Genepo, who then gets between man and ball and wins the free kick and does well there, Musa Genepo, who's hardly featured, of course, in the last few months. He got some appearances against Man City and Palace. They were his only appearances since January, since his first start for months, Musa Genepo. But also what I was going to say to you is you've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles on the bench. You're playing a back four. Why not play him at right back? Why play Lianco? Wouldn't Maitland-Niles be better against
you got to ask that question to Ruben. He's kind of gone with Lianco today for a strange reason. Maybe it's the height, maybe it's a different reason, but he's gone with Lianco. And
well, we'll see. He's got Maitland-Niles on the bench. Byrne
he's got him.
Bednarek heads back. Byrne heads again. Stay Botman actually, and then Byrne heads it. Ball hasn't landed for about 6 touches. Eventually Lavia brings it down off his chest, plays it back to Bella Kotchap, and with 0-0 gone, 0-0, 11 minutes or so gone, I'd say it's been as good a start as we could have hoped for from Southampton. We've already had a couple of shots on target. Here's Lianco midway inside the Newcastle half. Terrible pass. Falls nicely though for Armstrong. He helps it on for Walker-Peters. Not sure why he didn't go himself. And then Walker-Peters' pass is poor, but Newcastle's clearance is poor. Lavia picks it up, finds Ward-Prowse. Has to go back to that far side. I think Stuart Armstrong could have carried on with the ball, Joe.
Well, he could have had a shot as well, Adam. He made it even more awkward to pass it. It was a good opportunity to shoot.
Now, down that left-hand side, here's Walker-Peters with him again. Walker-Peters has to go back under pressure from 2 players. Ward-Prowse has it. Saints trying to work an opportunity. Newcastle with bodies back. Still 0-0, and that's looking for a free kick. They're not going to get it. And I think Newcastle are appealing for a yellow card against Kyle Walker-Peters for diving. Kieran Trippier's not happy with him. Two former Spurs players. He did bump him, Trippier, and he fell over, but they sort of went hip to hip. It wasn't really a foul. He just got the worst of a collision, Joe, which it's a contact sport at the end of the day.
But we've got to work the sides when you got wingers there, but we need to threaten with that big back four that Newcastle has. It looks, why don't threaten them in behind, make them run at them, but you know they're good in front of them, but make them run. But you can see the problem we're having with not having a straight out striker is that when we come to crossing situations, we keep working it, but we never cross the ball.
Now, there's hardly anyone to aim at, is there, who's more than 5'6" either. Joe Ellington out to the right to Trippier, looks up nearly midway inside the Saints off into feet, first time flick, and Bednarek, well, I'm not sure he knew where McCarthy was, and Walker-Peters clears it away eventually for a throw to stop it going for a corner. I thought McCarthy could have had that ball and told Bednarek to leave it, but
Bednarek could have headed it right back to him.
Yeah, exactly, he had time, didn't he? Newcastle take the throw, they'll try and keep the pressure on, and Saints here defending well on that deep in their own half, away to my left on the far side, but then it's given away by Kyle Walker-Peters. He wants another bite at Jacob Murphy. Trippier, and they're telling him man on as the ball's got by Joe Ellington. Southampton getting stuck in, but it comes out for Newcastle on that right wing. Cross will be hung up. McCarthy stayed on his line. It was outside of his 6-yard box, but it was in the air a long time. Header away anyway was decent, and it's gone out for a Newcastle throw. Almost level with the edge of the Saints penalty area on this near side.
Yeah, we're defending well as a team, which we have to ride these kind of moments off in the game, Adam, and we're doing a good job at the moment.
Yeah, the pressure's mounting, isn't it, as the ball goes out of play, or it doesn't go out of play. Newcastle keep it in, 10 yards from the corner flag, far side, away to my left on the Newcastle right. Great work from Murphy, good cross, just comes off the head of Bella Kotchap, which gets it away from the on-rushing Newcastle players, and then that should be a Southampton throw. Genepo, good challenge on Dan Byrne, who is giving away at least a foot two, but he stuck his leg out and got the ball off the defender for a throw to Southampton, who just need to take stock here and pause for breath. Newcastle just trying to work them on the sides, Joe, like a boxer on the rope. Saints were there for a few minutes. Lianco takes the throw. Gets it back off Alcaraz, and then a long ball back to McCarthy. He's going to have to control this under pressure. Isak was bearing down on him. He gets it out to Walker-Peters, but Newcastle have to press on here. Saints through Bella Kotchap now, still midway inside their own half. Done well to get this far. Oh, and then the ball up for Sulemana. He manages to get a header on it because he slipped as it was going into him. And Newcastle have won it back, and there's Guimaraes with the ball over the top looking for Gordon. And Lianco wins the battle of the bleached hair as he just about gets it away from Gordon. And then Burns swats Genepo away, and then Genepo gets back to tackle Gordon. It's feisty, it's competitive, it's Saints giving as good as they get at the moment.
Yeah, but I like that with Genepo. He tried to pick up a bad ball and make it better, and he lost it, but he didn't give it up. He went back and won it again. So that's the way you got to do it. You got to try and make a bad ball better, and he did. And then you got to fight for it again, and that's the attitude you want to see.
Saints have won it back from that Newcastle throw as well, and Ward-Prowse has done well, and Sulemana, oh, nutmegs Willock, lovely, just near halfway, and he's still going, Kamaldeen Sulemana, dragging Botman back with him down this right hand side. Fulham 1, Man City 1 is the latest score. Haaland's penalty cancelled out by Fulham's equaliser. That's the only goal in the other games. Man U Villa, massive game for Champions League place going on at Old Trafford, 0-0. Bournemouth 0, Leeds 0 on our Dorset frequencies, and the ball back with Newcastle and in control. But Sulemana showing what he's about there. Some great trickery, and then the long ball through again. Saints defend it well. Got a good line with the back four, Joe, and those long balls from Newcastle trying to play men in behind are going through to McCarthy. The Saints aren't playing too deep, and he's coming out and sweeping early off his line as well.
Yeah, and we have defended it, but I'm a little bit worried because when you play 4-3-3, that is kind of considered as a good ball, even though it goes to nothing out of them, because you move the defenders backwards. So we need to be when that happens, get back up where we should put the line and make sure we are stuck together with Lavia and Ward-Prowse, so the spaces are blocked.
Ball with Newcastle, 0-0, 17 minutes gone on BBC Radio Solent Sport at St James's Park. Second trip of the season here. Last one, of course, Sean Longstaff had scored twice almost by now, and Saints were out of the League Cup at the semi-final stage, having lost the first leg 1-0. They ended up getting the goal back through Shea Adams, of course, on the last day of January back here on what was a very loud night as Newcastle celebrated getting to Wembley. They, of course, ultimately lost that final, lost a couple of games around it, Newcastle, as Saints have a throw on halfway, but then they regathered and they've won 7 of 8 since that week where they lost to Man United and then lost a game after. And the only team to do them in the last couple of months are Villa, who beat them 3-0. Here they're coming to attack again, just over the centre circle, great ball through, here's Gordon through on goal, and he hits the post, and it goes behind for a goal kick. That should have been Anthony Gordon's first goal in Newcastle colours, but he couldn't make the finish when he was through on goal, and quite honestly it looked easier to score than to miss.
Yeah, Lavia kind of ends up turned the wrong way and loses the ball, and his thread is Isak plays him straight into Gordon on the left side, and Lianco is not with it, has no chance, and luckily for us I think McCarthy presses him and he goes on the post.
Should have scored. Now Saints crossing from the left. First one to react though is Sven Botman, the giant Dutchman. Clears it away.
Good work by Sulemana on the left side. We go from one end to the other here, Adam, and again, but maybe this is where we're missing a striker, because the cross from Sulemana is actually very good.
Yeah.
And it's too easy for Newcastle to clear it. But very, very good play by Sulemana. One-on-one skills down the left-hand side there.
Saints fans making themselves heard away to my left, and I can hear them from down here, and you can hear them at home, hopefully on my effects mic. And Newcastle have it, middle of the park. Lovely skill from Alexander Isak, who's in some blistering form. Great feet in the centre circle. And he lopes forward. The ball dropped off to Joe Ellington. Slightly changed midfield setup for a Newcastle with Sean Longstaff injured, with Joe Ellington and Willock in there alongside Guimaraes. Anthony Gordon again, who started well down the left. Early cross this time, and cleared away by Bednarek from the edge of his 6-yard area, and Genepo can only put it out to a corner as he tries to control the clearance, and Newcastle can keep the pressure on.
Yeah, and Gordon has given Alcaraz a very hard time here.
Yeah, go on, Joe. Keep talking.
Genepo needs to help him on a little bit. it's tough for Lianco, but we need to help him out as well. But Gordon has too much space, so we need to either stop the pass out to him, or Lianco needs to be tighter.
Now corner to Newcastle, 21st minute of the game. Trippier from the left, right-footed, hangs it right to the back post. It's headed back in field and down and just wide. And I thought Joelinton was going to have another goal there. He's already got the winner in the first leg of the semi-final against Saints this season at St Mary's. And perhaps he should have done better, and Saints have a goal kick and the danger is over once more. Newcastle have had their chances. Bournemouth are one up against Leeds through Jefferson Lerma. I don't know why I said Fulham 1, City 1. I thought I saw that in front of me as a goal flash. And it's still Fulham 0, City 1. Maybe it was disallowed. Haaland's penalty the difference. But Bournemouth 1, Leeds 0. Jefferson Lerma. Leeds in Bournemouth on a bank holiday weekend. Not a great feel about it, but Bournemouth can win the game, send them Yorkshiremen packing away from the town. Now that's poor ball given away by Bednarek, and he makes up for it with an interception as Newcastle tried to play in behind the Saints defence again. Ball forward from Byrne. Good strong challenge from Ward-Prowse from Willock, and he wins the throw on this near side.
I think it's Fulham City 1-1, Adam.
Well, I thought it was 1-1.
Yeah, it's 1-1, Adam.
Then I saw something said it wasn't, but it is 1-1, which is what I already said to everyone. Pereira with the goal. How? Gordon, who started very brightly, nutmegs Lianco this time, but they can't keep the ball in. It's a throw into Southampton, and it's gone off Saints. I don't know why it's gone off Saints. I didn't think it did. I don't know why it's a Newcastle throw. I'm with Ruben Sellers, you can hear on my effects mic. Not happy. Oh, it has gone back to Saints. The referee got it right. Linesman's a numpty down beneath us, doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think the referee went with the player's reaction, which was actually quite good. I like that.
I do. Anthony Taylor's the man, that's for sure. Now Lianco wins another throw off Anthony Taylor. Look at both of them, Joe. What have you ever thought about bleaching your hair on the top of your head like Lianco and Anthony
next week,
Gordon?
you and me, Adam.
Okay, no chance. A pair of pinheads. Right, up against each other. Here we go. Now that's a poor pass from Alcaraz. He's struggled to get into the game so far. Saints started at a really good pace in this match. It's 0-0. We've had a quarter of the game. I think it's as good a quarter as we could have hoped for in the opening quarter of the match.
Well, we kept them quiet, but there's some worrying lippy bits, but there's some good bits, Adam. So you can expect that away. We're not here to entertain. We'll be a bit cynical, and we have been.
But we've had tact as well. We've had a good go.
I like it.
Not just cynical. It's been good.
But you are cynical when you bring everyone back to defend, and I don't see any problem with that. I think that is a good idea to slow the tempo down in the game.
And you've got Sulemana as an outlet, at least on the pitch tonight, which we didn't have against Bournemouth, with some real pace.
Yeah, and he's created some good stuff already, Adam.
My point is, I think Alcaraz is the only one who hasn't adapted to the speed of the game so far. Stuart Armstrong started well, Sulemana started well. I think Genopo's done a lot of good work in the game, defensively and attacking. Alcaraz just a couple of misplaced moments. Things haven't quite gone. That's good work again from Bella Kotchap, by the way, winning the ball back on halfway. Lavia wants to bring it forward. He wants an extra touch.
Yeah, he wants some runners. He wants someone to go in behind. And Genepo and Stuart Armstrong is kind of just holding the width, not going forward.
Now, that's good work from Walker Peters. On halfway, here comes Stuart Armstrong, but he's had to come deep to collect. Back to Bella Kotchap. Southampton have worked all the way back to McCarthy by Newcastle's press. Alex McCarthy clears long, which is okay in principle, but boy, you're playing with Sulemana and Alcaraz up front, and they're not going to compete with Scher, Botman or Byrne in the air. If you're going to do that, you've got to isolate Trippier on that other side. This time it's Fabien Scher, who made a wonderful pass the other night for Joelinton's goal, but this one's intercepted by Saints, and Genepo with good feet gets away from Byrne. Now can Sulemana run Botman right hand edge of the penalty area, looks up and hits it against the Dutchman, and out for Southampton's first corner of the afternoon. 0-0.
Good play, finally a run in behind with Sulemana. Well, Sulemana is the one that making a run, see if there is any run, but he's set up one-on-one there, Adam. I want him to take Botman on.
Same here.
Yeah, and I think with the pace it makes the perfect run, and the whole situation is set up perfectly. But we get a corner, he wants to cross it, but there's no one there.
Should have absolutely taken Botman on. He's got the corner, like you said, but the ball was never looked like it was going to be passed to anyone apart from Botman. So I'd like to see him use his pace and make the Dutchman make a decision. Here comes Ward-Prowse from the right, an out-swinging corner. From down to our right here on the near side, flicks into the near post, headed away by Joe Ellington in the end. He's going to come out on the far side, and getting there first is Stuart Armstrong, tries to get up, he's tussling with Alexander Isak. The Swede puts him off, and Newcastle try and break, but Lavia's across there brilliantly, shielded the ball away from Murphy and won it back. And here's Lianco making a run, and he's going to have a shot, and he's hit it into the Gallagher end, but sweet dummy from Lianco, little drop of the shoulder and a feint, and then a curling shot.
Yeah, and he has no other option than to shoot, because he's the only one up there. When he goes past one player, there's no one there, but he has to shoot, and it's a good attempt, but a little too far over the goalpost.
Certainly an impressive little shimmy to make
good little 1-2 with his feet as well. So good shimmy, and he was passed in a good position.
Oh, I just felt a dot of rain on my face, Joe. You know what it's like here, everybody. We're so low on the stand that when it rains, we can get soaked, and we could end up having electrical meltdowns here. But let's hope it doesn't happen. It's 0-0. If we go off air, you'll know why.
It's a very Norwegian thing to talk about the weather, Adam.
Is it? Well, it's English as well, don't worry about that. Now the ball out on the right. Time to look for the cross. Bruno Guimaraes hits it against the Southampton player, cries for handball, corner given. We've had just over 25 minutes of this game, nearly 26. Newcastle 0, Southampton 0, live on BBC Radio Solent. Another corner for Newcastle away to our right-hand side. Saints have done okay so far, no doubt about it. Can they keep going? They've had a couple of shots, 2 on target. Newcastle have had a few, but not on target. But they're going to try and change that now with a short corner. Arms on the right, goes back in the end to Trippier, hangs it to the back post, and they've worked it completely free for Guimaraes, and then cleared away by Bednarek because he headed it back in. But really, he was left. I mean, it worked for Newcastle because he pulled away and no one went with him. And the ball back in their own half, Newcastle have it. Saints have had 44% possession, 2 shots, 2 on target. Both of them on target. So that's a bright start. They've kept Newcastle
good start.
Though.
We had a good one in the beginning, which I think Suleiman ended up having a shot on there, or was it Gianeppo? I can't remember now.
Now that's a good ball, and again Saints are struggling with Anthony Gordon, one-on-one with Lianco in the box. Lianco shows good pace, got between him and the ball, but they didn't clear it. Then Bella Kotchap has to hurry up a clearance and scoops it off his boot. And Newcastle trying to keep the pressure on. Saints are almost their worst enemies. Sulemana tries to get the pass to Alcaraz, who goes mad at him, and they're arguing with each other on halfway. Sulemana could have played it into acres of space and tried an intricate pass, and it went wrong. The break was on, and Alcaraz knew it, and instead Saints having to defend. Tackle on Joe Ellington on the far side. Ball out on that touchline for Walker Peters, curls it down, and it's out of play. Come off a Newcastle player, throw into Southampton.
Yeah, and I can understand Alcaraz's frustration, because Sulemana tries like a little inside flick with his heel past Burn on this side, and he could have just played it simple with his inside of his foot, and we lost the ball. And Alcaraz trying to make runs, he wants the ball.
Yeah, Saints clear through Bella Kotchap, launched it back into the Newcastle half, and why not? And that header back is poor. Sulemana might get there, and Pope rescues the situation for Sven Botman, because Sulemana's pace, I thought for a moment he was favourite to get there, and it's out for a Saints throw beneath us. And like I said, we're quite close here. I've got my effects mic pointed at Eddie Howe and Ruben Sellers.
And again, this shows how important it is to have a striker up, to put pressure on the centre half, so they don't have an easy header. And Sulemana's pace is frightening, and you can see it they are worried about it. You can see that it was a header for me, that shows that they're worried about his pace.
2-0 to Bournemouth against Leeds. Bournemouth are staying up. 2-0. Lerma's got 2 in 4 minutes. Scored 3 before this afternoon's game, Lerma, all season. 2 in 4 minutes, giving Bournemouth a massive lead, an advantage over Leeds United, who are struggling to stay up like Saints. Ball off Willett for a throw-in, and Bednarek telling Jennifer where he wants him. Sellers doing the same thing. Anthony Gordon they've got to deal with. They've really let him get on top of them down this near side. Eddie Howe's black and white army is the cry. Another long throw from Lianco goes straight to the head of Dan Burn. That's 2 or 3 of those, and I'm thinking, what's the point of throwing the ball to Newcastle's defenders' heads as the ball gets lobbed up for McCarthy to catch. And Newcastle just a little bit frustrating Eddie Howe at the moment, who's got the double teapot on. And Ruben Sellers is, as always, completely over-animated. And look, a jack in a box. And that long ball over the top, looking again for Djenepo, but once more Byrne deals with it. Guimaraes brings it down beautifully out the air, right beneath us on halfway. Then Gordon gives it back to Botman.
That ball from Bernard just needs to be a little bit longer, a little bit harder, and a little bit flatter, and then longer, and then Djenepo will be behind the Burns. That's what you got to beat.
Trouble is, he's 6'9", so you've got to get it over him. Now Lavia, that's a terrible tackle by Guimaraes. Surely that's a yellow card. You're having a joke, Anthony Taylor. How's he not booked him for that?
Well, he booked Bednarek down on the touchline here when they were straight in front of us, Adam, which was probably correct, but that should have been a yellow card as well.
Honestly, I'm shocked. That could have been dangerous, the way he upended him, Joe. And he didn't get the ball. It has to be a yellow card.
I think Lavia helped the situation by getting up very quickly.
Maybe, but 30 minutes gone. Newcastle should have Guimaraes in the book. Has been sent off, of course, here against Saints in that second leg back in January. Could have gone halfway to get him off again this afternoon. But Southampton so far have responded well to the poor showing against Bournemouth on Thursday. It's 0-0. We're past the half-hour mark on BBC Radio Solent at St James's Park. Lavia under pressure, does well under pressure, and then that's another foul. This time the man being brought down is Stuart Armstrong, who pushes Joe Ellington away. He's getting frustrated, Armstrong. Now Joe Ellington's kicked the ball away.
Yeah, and that was Guimaraes' second challenge in 2 goals.
It was Joe Ellington, I think, the second one.
That was Guimaraes. I think Joe just involved himself in the battle with the ball with Stuart Armstrong.
He kicked the ball away as well. He hasn't gone in the book for kicking it away either.
Guimaraes had another tackle. Straight after another one, consistent fouling. That should be a yellow card. And the first one in itself on Lavia was a yellow.
Absolutely. Bella Kotchak, that's a long ball. Saints trying to play over the top, but not with a big man, as we know. Trying to play over behind the defenders to use the pace of Sulemana. But he can't be everywhere, and that one went down the left, and Stuart Armstrong hasn't got that pace, let's be honest.
No, but he still needs to run behind, and I think if he does that, he creates more space for himself in front of him.
Right, now that's, I was going to say a good run from Trippier.
So what I want, Adam, is to get Djenepo to make runs in behind and then stop and check and come back. You get more space. But if you stand still, you make the width of the pitch, but you don't create any movement or create space. And I think threatening behind, that will make the Newcastle defence think. They've got to think more. And
the one thing he's good at, Djenepo, is if you just get 2 or 3 yards by checking and coming back and then getting the ball, he's good one-on-one, taking defenders on. He's tricky. He can skip past people. He can cause a bit of nuisance. Yeah, and he will get more space to take people on if he does that. So you've got to go long to come short, go short to go long in a way. Yeah, go short and spin and then look for a ball over the top if they're actually going to get the ball. That's good work from Alcaraz. Gets a return pass of Sulemana, drifting down the left-hand side. Armstrong outside him, ignored him. Maybe he should have gone to him, but Saints have worked it infield nicely, and then there's a tackle on Sulemana, and then Ward-Prowse has given it away. Poor pass from him, hit Willock, and then Willock's found Anthony Gordon, and Sulemana's having to run back, and it's gone out of play. No foul, get up, says Anthony Taylor. Well, at least he's evened that out. Good defending by Sulemana. It's all the way off there. He sees that Ward-Prowse loses the ball and make the run back, and body checks Gordon, and we get a throw in. Gordon went down too easily, and Anthony Taylor was having none of it. Jason Tyndall whinging to fourth official Stuart Atwell. I don't think Stuart Atwell's a good judge of a decision. Long again, the throw by Lianco, Joe. How many times is that? Straight on to Dan Burn. Well, he hasn't got anywhere else to throw it. Well, you've got to find somewhere else to throw it. There's no point in throwing it to Dan Burn. That's like 3 times in the last 10 minutes. They've got to be better, Saints. From that's a set-piece situation. Whatever you call it, it's a throw-in that you should have answers for. Here comes Anthony Gordon from a great switch of play from the right, from Newcastle to the left. Gordon gets it back, squares it to Guimaraes. Good tackle on him by Sulemana. Alcaraz now trying to get away from his own half. Went round 2. He's an absolutely amazing run from Carlos Alcaraz. Now what can he do with it? He can find Stuart Armstrong out on the left. That's brilliant work from the young Argentinian. Suddenly bombing forward for Stuart Armstrong is Carl Walker-Peters. Has it on the left, tries to cross it, blocked. Out for a throw deep in Newcastle territory for Southampton, wide on the left-hand side, and they're creating a few nerves around St James's Park, Saints, because they have made such a good start. With 34 minutes gone, it's 0-0. They have, and good tackle again by Lavia. Place it in, and well,
well played by Alcaraz, but he's got too far to go, Adam. His way into his half.
Remember Walcott making that run earlier in the season? It was like a horse at the Grand National running out of steam.
He would run out of steam, but he kept the ball, and we made a good attack and got it throw-in all the way down in the bottom of the corner on the right-hand side for
now,
Newcastle.
This time Lavia was caught by Guimaraes, who got the ball, but then Newcastle gave it away to Bella Kotchap, and Lianco has it, and he's hung it straight up to Nick Pope to catch and try and think about a break. Alcaraz puts his hands up in front of Pope. If I was Pope, he should have thrown it at Alcaraz's hand, taken the free kick. Anyway, it's 0-0.
Good play, and we win the ball back, and we got a good attack with from that throw-in. Lianco gets the ball and he crosses it, and it's fine. Actually, it's not a good cross, but it's fine.
Not enough pace on it, Joe.
But that's where you need a striker. That is the problem, isn't it? There's no one there.
But Joe, we're saying they need a striker after he's doing the cross, knowing there's not a striker.
Exactly.
So he's just been caught by Pope. Now that's a good ball through from Guimaraes, and again trying to cut through the Saints defence out on the left. Gordon's had it. He can have a go at Lianco once more. He goes on his outside. Lianco gets between him and the ball, ushers it out. Goal kick Saints. Good defending that time from Lianco. Well done him.
Lianco's done well. He's recovered from the beginning and getting stronger one-on-one, and he's also been involved in going forward so he's a little bit tired, you can see now. But he did well there. He let Gordon come to him, took him out with his body, and the ball rolled out for
Bednarek needs him to do well and to stay close to him, because Bednarek's been booked. He can't be exposed one-on-one now in the game, really. So Lianco has to just not be too just make sure he tucks in near Bednarek and watches that channel between the two of them, because ideally for Bednarek, Lianco deals with those things like he did then. Ball up, goal kick for Saints. They take a long time over it, think the Newcastle fans. 0-0, long clearance. Byrne wins the header, booming one over Lianco. Here's Bella Kotchap, he lobs it into the Newcastle. Botman heads it back with interest. Bednarek gets it. Where's he going to put it? He goes over the top this time, but then nobody had made the run, and Byrne should get it back to Pope, which he does, and then Saints will try and press them in here, and Pope's actually made a hash of his clearance. Saints did well, but only because Newcastle were poor, not really because of pressure. The initial ball wasn't going anywhere near a Saints player.
But it's a good ball because it goes over Burns, and because it goes over Burns, Burns has to run back to his goal, and that creates pressure at him. And then we can move in with the ball, and that's what we need to do more of. And because of that, Gianappo can run in, put a little bit of pressure on the goalkeeper, and he puts the bad ball out to Burn, and we get the throw in.
It was exactly
and it's easy. That's easy defending.
It's easy to put the ball over the top, but then Gianappo next time, it'd be better if he's actually runs for it. Now flag's gone up. What for? Offside, Lianco. Didn't see that, but
how can that be offside?
He attacked it from the goal side, from his own side.
He attacked it from the halfway line, and Burns is on the other side of him.
Weird one. He gave Byrne a good clatter though. Dan Byrne, big boy, local boy, of course, from Blythe, had an interesting career.
The linesman didn't wait for offside. That was weird.
Played at Darlington at the start of his career. He's from Wigan, of course. Yeovil. And he finds himself on the verge of the Champions League with Newcastle in the second half of his career. He's done well, Dan Byrne. A good spell at Brighton, of course. Now, ball down the right for Newcastle. Trippier has it deep in Saints' half. And the cross, I thought it deflected, but it's gone kindly for Newcastle again. Little ball in from Isak, and he's looking for the run from Willett. Can't find him. Go out for a goal kick. Applause from the home fans for the intention. And there's a Saints player down injured. It's Armel Bella Kotchap, who's sitting near the penalty spot. It is 0-0, everybody. So the hope that we had before the game, that I said we must have, because we can't have no hope coming to a match, remains, and Saints are doing well.
It's a good start in being cynical when we have to defend with men. We do, and we are working hard, and that's all you want there, Adam. You want people to work hard and get in position, be cynical. We got Suleiman and Alcaraz in good positions.
Leeds have pulled one back through Bamford, by the way. Bournemouth 2, Leeds 1. Bamford's worked out where the goal is tonight after his shocking miss the other night. The Saints are doing their best to make life very hard for Newcastle. They've had to defend at times and had a little bit of luck, but so have Newcastle. Good tackle by Lianco. Celes likes it. Big call putting him in instead of Maitland-Niles today.
And Lianco's done well, I have to say, even though he's given away a little bit of space to Gordon for a while, but he's dealt with it. We dealt with it, and that's what you got to do.
Gianappo trying to get the ball off Joelinton. He just had too big a frame. He couldn't get round him to get the ball off him. Big tall Brazilian, the former Hoffenheim man, his 4th season now, as Trippier lobs it up towards him. He's up there as a striker. It drifts over him and Lianco. Comes out on this near side for Joe Willock. Willock chips it to the back post. It's headed away by Walker-Peters, but then put back into the penalty area. Lovely cross in the end from Gordon as the two wide men have switched wings. And then it's given away. Oh, and that ball from Stuart Armstrong. We all saw it. We all knew it. If it had got to Alcaraz, he was through on goal from the halfway line. But Newcastle are coming again. Willock skips into his right foot, curls it. Oh, it's not far over. Maybe a foot. McCarthy left it and watched it and was confident. But that's the danger of the wingers switching sides, coming inside onto their stronger foot, and Willock hit it over. But if only that ball from, I think it was Stuart Armstrong, was it? If it had gone over the defence, Alcaraz was through. He tried to play it through into his path.
Yeah, Fabian Schär and Botman kind of collided a little bit. We put him on the pressure, though. We have to say they collided because we put him on the pressure. Stuart Armstrong got a ball and Alcaraz made a fantastic run. Stuart Armstrong couldn't get the ball. I think he tried to be too cute and put it through one of the defender's legs, and I think he could have played that lip is safer, and I think Alcaraz would have been one-on-one with the keeper.
I think the problem was he tried to play it along the ground. What he could have actually done was play it into an ocean of space behind the two centre-backs, and Alcaraz would still have been first.
Yeah, or he could have curled it around on one or the other side.
Now, ball forward from halfway from Byrne, held up by Joe Ellington. Joe Ellington gives it back to Byrne. He'll look for a return ball again. Lianco's gone with him. Brazilian spat off the ball there. Lavia in on Guimaraes, brilliant tackle. Now Saints can break. Alcaraz has it over halfway, driving down the middle. Armstrong to his left, Sulemana to his right, pushes Sulemana a bit wide. Crosses first time, 1-0 Southampton. Stuart Armstrong taps it in. Great early cross from Sulemana. Armstrong taps it home, and Saints lead at Newcastle. The travelling fans have an away goal to take home, and it is reward for an excellent first half performance. What a comeback from the performance against Bournemouth so far here this afternoon. And that has silenced St James's Park. It's Newcastle 0, Saints 1.
Fantastic turnover. We missed the turnovers against Bournemouth. We win the ball in midfield quickly. We win it, and Alcaraz turns and he's on his own. He can drive forward. Sulemana makes a run to the right. Could probably have been played in earlier, but didn't. He kept the ball. Stuart Armstrong to the left, and then he plays it in, and it looked like if the ball was a little bit bad for Sulemana on the right hand side. Sulemana chooses to cross it on first time. Stuart Armstrong in front of the goal. Probably knees it in with his left foot, and a very good goal, Adam. Very good, and well-deserved goal as well, I have to say.
It's only his second league goal of the season, Stuart Armstrong. One against Arsenal, one against Newcastle, and that was a belter. And the key to that was Lavia's turnover on halfway, getting Bruno Guimaraes on the ball. But then Sulemana, having been pushed wide, still gambling with the early cross, and Newcastle hadn't had time to turn round.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and like you said, Lavia's tackle. He tackled Guimaraes, wins the ball to Alcaraz. That's the part of the tackle that wins you the goal chance, Adam.
It's a brilliant performance from him so far, isn't it? Manchester United have unfortunately taken the lead against Aston Villa.
And the other thing, Adam, you got to say this, Adam, because we attack with pace, Adam. That's why we create that goal.
Yeah. Well, the high turnover on the halfway line, and then he's played it early, and they've gone. Alcaraz and him and Sulemana went for it.
Yeah, and we probably got our three quickest players up there with Stuart Armstrong, Sulemana and Alcaraz. And
I think that's another bad foul, I think. I mean, you can't see the replay, Joe, but Jenipo's just been kicked down to the floor almost by Joe Ellington, who I think has been a bit lucky because he certainly kicked the ball away after Guimaraes' foul earlier.
Yeah.
Jenipo's slow to get up. I think he landed on his arm. Joe Ellington's shaking his head, but he's trying to bully Jenipo off the pitch here at the moment. So Bruno Fernandes has scored for Manchester United against Villa before half-time. Man City have retaken the lead against Fulham through Julian Alvarez. 2-1 at Craven Cottage. 1-0 to Saints here. It's all happening in the Premier League this afternoon, and it's happening live on BBC Radio Solent. Joe Tessam alongside me. 90 seconds of normal time to the end of the first half. Sulemana's taken the ball down. He's got the pace. Is he dragged over? No foul, says the referee. Went down too easily. Botman was worried. Perhaps Sulemana shouldn't have gone down so easily. Perhaps he should have fought harder as Newcastle win a throw midway inside their own half. The referee's going to give them a free kick, but it was a throw to them anyway. Anthony Taylor, he's just checking, I think, on the foul, maybe a possible foul. Botman on Sulemana in that challenge, but quickly waved away.
Yeah, well, Sulemana went down too early. We had a perfect view from here, but good play again. It's a clearance from McCarthy, but Gineppo wins it, kind of lays it off to Ward-Prowse, who hits it in behind. That's the medicine against this big back four, Adam. In behind, make them run, and we have that pace with Suleimani.
Yeah, make them run, make them turn and run when they're a bit slower. Now, on this near side, Murphy takes on Gineppo, gets past him way too easily. Gineppo calling players over, hits Bednarek, and luckily for him, comes off the underside of his thigh and his backside and lands at McCarthy's feet. And Gineppo couldn't run back because he's in pain. He was calling players to help him deal with Murphy, and he's gone down again, Musa Gineppo.
Yeah, he's holding his shoulder out. He landed a little bit awkwardly on the touchline, straight in front of
that challenge from Joelinton, who he didn't get a booking for again. But we're about to approach stoppage time. Stuart Atwell, wait for it. Graham Jones, the Newcastle coach, is moaning at Stuart Atwell again. Suleimana's having words with Ruben Selles. Southampton are so annoying, aren't they? Chalk and cheese. Score 3 goals at Arsenal, go 3-1 up at the league leaders. Come to Newcastle, 1-0 up on the verge of half time, and absolutely don't turn up at home to Bournemouth and don't turn up at home to Palace and ruin all the opportunities they're given. Anyway, 3 minutes of stoppage time. You don't need me to tell you that at home. You feel as frustrated
but
as I do.
It is what we have said, Adam. You've got to pick your best players in the best position, and I said this a long time. Put Suleimani in a more central position where he can do a little bit like he wants, and run in behind and be at that pace, because his pace, he doesn't need to be big when he's striker. When you have all that pace, the threat is always on.
But we've also said they should be playing with a recognised striker. Now, I'm not sure he is that, so we can't have it both ways. It's working well because they're doing the game plan to play with small strikers well.
Yeah,
ball over the top, use the pace. If they're playing up to his head, it's not going to work, is it? So at least they're playing to their strengths, is what you're saying, aren't you?
Yeah,
with
but
the players they're playing the right way.
He uses his pace to be a threat, and that's the difference. He doesn't use it on his head. But also the good thing at the moment is that Stuart Armstrong and Gineppo are more wingers, and they play more like a 4-4-2 today.
And how long have you been crying out for some width?
I have.
About 3 months? Okay.
When did the season start?
Right, August. Seems like about 12 years ago the way this season's gone. Newcastle being pushed into their own half. We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. There'll be a little bit of stoppage time on stoppage time because of that treatment for Gineppo, who's up and still on the pitch. Clearance from Nick Pope. That'll go over Joelinton. Frustration for Newcastle. Saints need to be sensible now. Lianco decides to go for a big cross diagonal ball. No one's going to get that apart from the ball boy. And he does, and they just push Newcastle back into their own half. That's Ruben Selles.
Yeah, but it's another good ball in behind. I don't mind that. Sometimes you've got to hit those balls.
Now, those long ones this time looking for Newcastle. Bednarek gets it. Who's going to react first? Gineppo, but why he played it infield to a dangerous area, I don't know. He's got a right foot. He should have used it, and instead he's given it back to Newcastle. Guimaraes out to Anthony Gordon, operating on that right-hand side now with Trippier, who has it midway inside the Saints' half. We've had 2 minutes of the 3. Gordon plays it back, frustration, and groans around St James's Park because Saints have so far defensively set up well in this move. Ward-Prowse faced by Willock, pushes Willock to go back, and then they go back again. Botman has it in the centre circle. Now Willock takes over looking forward, finds Gordon, tackled. Ward-Prowse second tackle falls kindly for Newcastle. Trippier from the right, cross blocked by Walker-Peters, comes down for Trippier, volleys it in, headed away by Ward-Prowse from the edge of the penalty area. Botman nods it down, but it's poor, and Stuart Armstrong has it, stands still with it cleverly, found a bit of time and space, and that clearance from Walker-Peters will just be collected by Newcastle. Alcaraz was trying to make the run for the early pass forward, didn't get it. Ball out from the right from Guimaraes again. Here comes Anthony Gordon with his bright orange boots, gives it to Trippier. More groans. We've had the 3 minutes, and McCarthy comes off his line and gathers it. Oh, drops it, gives me kittens and catches it again. And Anthony Taylor says that is it for the first half. Quickly, Eddie Howe goes down the touchline to try and change his team's fortunes. Ruben Selles will be delighted with the way he's got a response from the performance on Thursday night. Saints lead by 1-0. They frustrated Newcastle and limited them to 2 or 3 good chances throughout the half, and I don't think we could have asked for any more. Stuart Armstrong's goal from Suleimana's cross separates the sides, and Joe Tessam, I don't think we honestly came here thinking we were potentially 1-0 up at half time.
No, but with the way we have played, I think we have deserved it. I think we've been as good as Newcastle, probably a little bit better, a little bit smarter, but it comes from the hard work the players have put on, the cynical work. Very good to see that No one's given up. They fight for the place, they fight for the balls. Situations that comes up, defend together, work for each other, and that's all the things you got to do. And then the quality and the way they attacked and scored a goal was fantastic, which started with that fantastic tackle by Lavia. So they deserve to be 1-0 up, Adam.
Would you make any changes at half time?
No, I wouldn't. This is working because we are coming back and sitting down, blocking the spaces, working together, making sure that Newcastle is not getting any space, and that's what you got to do with a 4-3-3 side.
Still, they could think about Shea Adams. We will see. Maybe they need someone to hold out the ball better. Maybe play alongside Suleiman or Alcaraz differently. We'll see. There will be choices. Thank you, Joe Tesson, for now. He can go and enjoy a half-time. Bovril, Jonna will take you through half-time. We've got rugby to look forward to. Non-league playoff final tomorrow as well. All that coming. But it's so far so good. Dare I say it, at half-time at Newcastle. It's Newcastle 0, Southampton 1.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Wow, wow, wow. Who saw this coming? Newcastle 0, Saints 1. Is there a glimmer for Saints?
Alcaraz has it over halfway, driving down the middle. Armstrong to his left, Sulemana to his right, pushes Sulemana a bit wide, crosses first time, 1-0 Southampton. Stuart Armstrong taps it in. Great early cross from Sulemana. Armstrong taps it home, and Saints lead at Newcastle. The travelling fans have an away goal to take home, and it is reward for an excellent first half performance. What a comeback from the performance against Bournemouth so far here this afternoon. And that has silenced St James's Park. It's Newcastle 0, Saints 1.
There you go, Saints 1 up at the break at Newcastle, a traditionally tough place for them to travel in the Premier League. What are your thoughts, Saints fans? 81333 on the text with Solent as the first word. You can WhatsApp as well, 08000 321 333, making Solent your first word, or tweet at Solent Sport. Hello to Mark, who says, why could we not have played this well against Bournemouth when it really mattered on Thursday night? I think I counted 5 Ys on his tweet, but thank you very much for your message. Also as well, text with no name on it here. I've supported Southampton for over 50 years. I've come to the conclusion the club are as mad as a box of frogs. The only thing that keeps me going is hearing Joe Tesson trying to work out Sellers' latest crazy formation without his head exploding. They are an enigma, Southampton, this season, turning it on against the big sides, struggling against the lower sides, but they're 1 up at the break in the northeast. Meanwhile, at the Vitality Stadium, the Cherries looking to get safety sealed this afternoon, and it's going very well so far.
Kelly's long diagonal down the middle for Billing, who wins the header, lays it off for Dom Solanke, tries to go around the outside of his man, still going Dom Solanke, looks to pull it back to Phil Billing, magnificent block from Cooper, here comes Lerma on his right foot, oh, Jefferson Lerma places an absolute perler into the right hand side of the goal. And just shy of the 20-minute mark, Leeds will feel hard done by. Bournemouth will not care. Another step towards the safety line, provided by Jefferson Lerma's brilliant finish. Bournemouth 1, Leeds 0. In from Christie, Solanke was coming in. Here's Lerma again! It's 2 for Jefferson Lerma! It broke to him on the 6-yard line, and he hammered it on the half volley into the roof of the net. And can you believe it? Jefferson Lerma's on a hat-trick. Bournemouth 2, Leeds 0. Nonto whips a ball in deep. Bamford's completely unmarked and heads it into the back of the net. And I'm afraid that is loose defending from the Cherries, who completely switched off and allowed Patrick Bamford to give Leeds some hope with a free header into the back of the net. And with 31 minutes played, it's now Bournemouth 2, Leeds 1.
So 2-1 lead for the Cherries at half-time at the Vitality Stadium, a win that would take them level on points with Chelsea, and with Chelsea, the visitors, next weekend to the Vitality Stadium as well. 39 points. If they can hold on, surely it's safety for another season in the Premier League. What do you think, Cherries fans? Hit me up on the text, 81333, Solent first word. WhatsApp is open for business as well, 08000 321 333 with Solent at the start of your message. Or you can tweet at Solent Sport as well.
BBC Radio Solent Sport. BBC Radio Solent.
The days are getting longer and the weather is getting warmer.
And this spring, make sure you take BBC Radio Solent with you.
You can listen live, pause, rewind, and catch up on the BBC Sounds app.
Whether you're taking a stroll through the park or sorting out the garden, we'll be there for you.
BBC Radio Solent, the sound of the South.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport, the home of live sport across the south.
5 minutes to 3 on the last day in April, Sunday afternoon. It's John O'Holmes here with BBC Radio Solent Sport, with you all the way through until 6 o'clock this evening, with loads of reaction coming up following our 2 live commentaries this afternoon, and with the second half coming up in around about 8-9 minutes time as well. Other scores floating around at the moment in the Premier League. It's Fulham 1, Manchester City 2 at half time at Craven Cottage. That was a 2 o'clock kickoff. The other game taking place that started at 2 o'clock as well. It's currently Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0 at half time. A big game in the battle for the European places this season. In the Championship earlier on, it ended Cardiff 1, Huddersfield 2. A massive win for Huddersfield. Are they going to survive under Neil Warnock? He's working his magic up there in Yorkshire, isn't he? Scottish Cup semi-final. It's currently Rangers 0, Celtic 1. That's into the second half. Formula 1 news. Sergio Perez won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix earlier. He pipped his Red Bull teammate Max Verstappen to first place. And the World Snooker Championship final is underway right now, with Mark Selby taking on Luca Brecel. It's currently 3-1 to Brecel, but a long way to go. It's a best of 35 frames in that match. Final day of the Women's Football League season as well. Get some half times very shortly from Dan. And we'll be, after the games this afternoon, looking back at an incredible afternoon of football yesterday, with Weymouth securing safety in the National League South. It looked almost impossible just a few days ago, but against the odds, the Terrors survived with a final day 2-0 win at Dover. Lots on that coming up after our 2 live commentaries this afternoon. One of the stories of the season for us on Solent Sport, that. Now though, we're going to look ahead to a big game tomorrow concerning Sholing and Hamworthy. It's the Southern League Division 1 South playoff final at the Imperial Homes Stadium on Portsmouth Road. Kick-off at 3 o'clock. And I'm really pleased to say Sholing manager Dave Diper joins me on the phone. Afternoon to you, Dave.
Hello, John. How are you? All right?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Thanks for coming on BBC Radio. So I'm sure you're busy preparing for the game tomorrow. It's a big one against Hamworthy. How have preparations been ahead of the playoff final for this huge game? Well, I think we've lost Dave for just a second there. We'll try and get Dave back in a short little time on BBC Radio Solent Sport. Maybe you just got a dodgy line for a second. Let's keep your tweets coming in then, Saints and Cherries fans. It's at Solent Sport on Twitter. You can also text 81333 Solent first word. Hello to Dan, who says, not getting excited with this Saints first half. How many times this season have we seen it? A Newcastle equaliser and winner incoming. Come on, Dan, try and be a little bit more positive about things. You never know. Saints against the big sides this season, they've seemed to have turned it on in a few occasions anyway. I know there's not been many huge wins, but a good few plucky points. But it's not points they need, is it? They need wins at the moment. Also, Alex, thank you for your message on at Solent Sports. Says, will Southampton Football Club stop giving us hope? Yeah, just when you think it's all over, Saints put in a good first half display. Long way to go, though, up at Newcastle this afternoon. Saints currently winning there 1-0. Thank you very much to Harry, Bournemouth fan listening online. Thank you for your message. Up the Cherries, all looking great under Gary O'Neill. Win here would definitely get us safety, and I think 11th is on the cards this season. Thank you for your message, Harry, as well. It's at Solent Sport on Twitter. Let's go back to Dave Diper ahead of Sholing versus Hamworthy. We lost the line to him just then a second ago, to Sholing manager. Dave, I think you're back with us now. I was just asking about preparations and how they've been ahead of the playoff final tomorrow.
Yeah, Jono. We had a good session yesterday and had all the lads in. We got a couple of injury problems in a moment to face and put up with before tomorrow's game. But generally it's gone pretty well, and obviously we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, just looking at the results against Hamworthy this season, it was a 1-1 draw at their place in December. You beat them 2-0 in February at home. Does that give you an advantage, do you think?
Not really. To be honest with you, they're both close games, really. They're a very good side. I mean, they've done extremely well. You know, they've had an excellent season. But as we have as well. I mean, it's one of those games where it's going to be really down to clinical finishing, I think. And, it's sort of one of these games where you just got to take your opportunities when they come along. It's going to be a big crowd there, so we're both looking forward to that. I spoke to Dan Cann this morning, to be honest with you, their manager. He got in contact with me, and I've been really sort of pleased with our performance this year. I mean, we've been sort of like top of the league for a long time, probably 37 weeks out of the 40, I believe. Playoff finals, the adrenaline's pumping all the time. It's one of those games where you mustn't go in there being, frightened to lose, because if you do that, we'll end up losing. So, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, bank holiday, big crowd, should be a cracking atmosphere. How important would it be to win this and get the club promoted, Dave?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think we need to get out of this league we're in. We've been there for a while now, and it'd be nice to play some different teams. I think it's a situation where we're sort of up to the standard where we are, but pushing forward, I think it's desperate for the club. We're desperate to get promotion, and obviously, you can't let this sort of spread over to the players. That's the thing, because we'd want to be playing under pressure. But we'll have a good crowd. We'll give it a real good go and see where it takes us.
All right, Dave. All the best for tomorrow. Wishing you all the luck in the world on it. Thank you, mate. Yeah. Cheers.
Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers. Bye.
Dave Diper there, Sholing manager, head of the Southern League Division 1 South playoff final at the Imperial Homes Stadium. Kick-off 3 o'clock on Portsmouth Road tomorrow afternoon against Hamworthy. Let's check in on some of the women's games taking place. It's the final day of the Women's Football League season with the latest scores concerning our local sides. It's Dan.
Jono, thank you. Southampton FC women hosting Sheffield United in the Championship. Half-time in that game, 0-0 at St Mary's Stadium. Pompey welcome Crawley Wasps at Fratton Park. Also, no goals in that game at the break. Southampton women, the Sirens, behind at the break with it 1-0 to Cardiff after they took the lead from the penalty spot. And finally, Moneyfields hosting Keynsham Town with Moneyfields drawing 1-1 at half-time. Taylor pulling one back after her side originally went a goal down.
Thank you, Dan.
Join us across the BBC to celebrate the coronation of Their Majesties King Charles and Queen Camilla. Be part of the event of a lifetime with our coverage of the coronation service at Westminster Abbey. Get a glimpse into the King's life with an exclusive new documentary, and enjoy celebrations across the UK and the Commonwealth, from local street parties to international choirs singing as one, and the spectacular concert at Windsor Castle. Celebrate the coronation with us. Watch on iPlayer, listen on BBC Sounds.
It is BBC Radio Solent Sport for Sunday afternoon. We've got 2 live commentaries for you this afternoon. Cherries versus Leeds, which is 2-1 to the Cherries at half-time. Both going our way at the moment, the live games that we've got for you. And Newcastle 0, Saints 1 is a half-time score as well. Surprising one, that. Do keep your thoughts coming in. Saints and Cherries fans will do loads of reaction after the game when we speak to Willow and Joe as well and get the reaction. But your thoughts always welcome here. We'd love to hear from you. 81333 on the text. It's Solent first word. Twitter is @Solent Sport as well. Or you can WhatsApp, which is 08000 321 333 with Solent at the start of your message. We can go back now to the Vitality Stadium on our Dorset frequencies. Cherries game is on 103.8 FM. Dorset DAB, Freeview channel 726 via BBC Radio Solent Dorset Sounds, and smart speaker online as well. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Solent Dorset. Is back to Chris Temple and John Williams with the Cherries commentary. And on our Hampshire frequencies, Saints, knocking up a bit of a surprise here at the moment away at Newcastle. It's not often that happens. Got a pretty wretched record up in the northeast of Saints. Long way to go though. 1-0 up at half-time. Let's head back to your commentary team on 96.1 FM, Hampshire DAB, Freeview channel 722, plus online via BBC Radio Solent Sounds and smart speaker. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Solent. Let's hand back to Adam Blackmore and Joe Tessam.
Thank you very much, Jono. The Blaydon race is ringing out around St James's Park as the players come back out. And Anthony Gordon, despite probably being the most dangerous player in the first half, he's off for Newcastle. And Callum Wilson, Newcastle's top scorer, the former Cherries striker, he's on the pitch. 13 goals this season, 4 goals versus Saints in his career. And Southampton have to defend this 1-0 lead with Newcastle, I think, matching them now and going 4-4-2 with Wilson and Isak up front. We'll see Murphy wide at one side, Joe Ellington the other, and Guimaraes sitting maybe with Willock, or maybe Joe Ellington and Willock wide. But Callum Wilson and Isak are now both on, both in good form. Still got Almiron to come off the bench if they want. And, well, we're in for some 45 minutes, aren't we? That is for sure. Kick-off by Newcastle, playing from left to right in this second half. Murphy has it on the right wing. Trippier outside him. Early cross from Murphy. McCarthy came and then went back to his line. Newcastle try and keep it in, but it's gone out for a goal kick on that far side. So here we go. No changes for Saints at half-time. So Southampton set up in a 4-4-2, I guess, with McCarthy in goal. Lianco, Bednarek, who's been booked, Bella Kotchap and Walker-Peters. Saints playing out from the back and then give it to McCarthy, and it's just headed in field by Trippier. I'm not sure what they were trying to achieve there, Saints. And then immediately they're on the defensive as Guimaraes is driving down the left-hand side, having bumped off the challenge from Ward-Prowse. Support behind him from Isak, who's a long way outside the penalty area, the striker. It didn't stop him at Everton, though, did it? And now they cross with Byrne. Did that hit a hand? It did. Jedipo. Free kick, but it would have been a corner anyway, Joe Tessam, and they're about 5 yards from each other.
So it didn't make any difference. So you look at Newcastle Lippe first half. They glued on Guimaraes on the Alcaraz. Didn't do a. Alcaraz had him in his pocket, Lippe running around. He didn't like that. Wilcox and Linton tried to lock on to Lavia, and Ward-Prowse didn't work for them, did it? First half.
Yeah. But they have a corner. Saints then in midfield. Armstrong left, Gineppo right, Ward-Prowse and Lavia in the middle with Alcaraz and Sulemana up front. That's their 4-4-2. Newcastle have this corner, wide, or free kick, wide out on the left-hand side. Away to my right, in front of the corner of the Gallagher end, and it'll be Kieran Trippier, the England fullback, 32 years old, has started every single Newcastle game this season. He's the only outfield player to do so. But that back four has been together for a lot of matches. And he is going to use his wand of a right foot to whip this into a dangerous area, and it's a good angle for him as well to cause chaos. In it comes, near post, flicked on and over and wide and out for a goal kick to Saints. Flick on was almost got too much on it, Callum Wilson, and it's going to be a goal kick to Saints. And Ruben Sellers shouting at the team. You should be able to hear him today. Alan Eddie Howe, Jason Tyndall, my effects mic on them, but I'm glad they're actually pushing the Saints defenders away, Joe, instead of trying another clearance.
Yeah, and we're taking our time, I thought, which is tactically very. I like that. We've got to be cynical here and be smart.
Well, Bazunu managed to waste about 13 minutes with his goal kicks at Arsenal, so we need similar this afternoon from Alex McCarthy. And like you said, if you're not going to get booked, carry on doing it. Now, Stuart Armstrong surely is fouled. Referee says no, then he slows Trippier down from taking the throw. Nice little England-Scotland battle going on this near side, because Stuart Armstrong's had the bit between his teeth this afternoon. It's been good to see. I would say that hasn't happened enough this season as it's gone on. Now Newcastle come out with Isak wide on that left-hand side, weirdly.
Yeah, and Stuart Armstrong has been given a clearer job role today. I think that's helped him, Adam.
Yeah, left wing is his position today, trying to occupy Trippier and trying to stop passes being made as Fabian Schär brings it forward. Plenty of time for Murphy to collect and turn and face Walker-Peters, but Saints happy with that. And then Armstrong and Walker-Peters sprung on him and they've won the ball back, Southampton. Here's the impressive Lavia, still only 19, making his 15th start in the last 16 games. And now the bursting pace of Willock, and Bella Kotchap uses his strength to get between him and the ball. Plays a little clearance to Walker-Peters, and they've done brilliantly, Southampton, to get out of that calmly as you like inside their own half. And Lavia still strong enough to run it away from the edge of his own penalty area. Now it's out on the right with Lianco. He needs to make the right decisions and goes back to McCarthy. And Southampton have done well. McCarthy puts his left foot through it. Long clearance up towards Sulemana, who wins a header that he really had no right to win against Fabian Schär.
No, but it's good to win those headers, Adam. That's what you got to have a striker up there to do that.
Imagine if he'd have passed that to himself, would have been perfect.
But you put the teams under pressure. We haven't had a striker up there for a long time, and today we have one, Adam. And He's the smallest one on the pitch probably, but he wins headers.
I just would have loved it if he'd have won that header and it had looped over him and Botman, and he'd run around and done it himself again, passed it to himself. Here's Willett with the angled run, and Bella Kotchap says, I'll just smash this into the stand, and Newcastle can have a throw. And already Trippier's got the ball, the next ball, and playing the game very quickly. Now on the hurry up, Newcastle trailing Saints by 1-0. 50th minute of the game. Bruno Guimaraes inside right, tries to bump off Lavia, then he's got the tackle from Lavia and Suleiman. A referee right on the spot says free kick Newcastle. Lavia's not happy because Guimaraes got away with a couple in the first half, but it's a great battle they're having, I have to say. And he just fell down between the two defenders as they challenged him. There wasn't actually a leg that came out, Joe, to bring Bruno Guimaraes down. He just got the first one he rode, and then he went down on the second one, and Anthony Taylor gave it him. And this is dangerous because Trippier will fancy this.
He will, and lift it on patient. He's had a little battle with Guimaraes today, and he's taken the ball off him a couple of times. And I think he had a little bit in him there, and he went a little bit early. Could have waited a little bit longer.
And he was on the bench, amazingly, Lavia, for both of the semi-finals against Newcastle back in January in the League Cup semi-finals, but he's the only game he hasn't started in the Premier League since New Year's Day is the Brentford home match. Now this free kick is right of centre, they're taking it short. Trippier will cross to the back post where the big man comes up, Byrne, and he just jumped at it, having it not been right, and I don't know what he was trying to do, but it's a goal kick to Southampton. Another move off the training ground goes wrong for Newcastle.
We defend well. Djenepo needs to be a little bit careful with the wild arms. He created a free kick down on the corner on the right hand side earlier, and his arms is a little bit up and wild, and if Burns wins that ball and heads it in and it hits his arm, it could be a penalty. So he needs to calm it down with I know he's trying to disturb him, and he does a good job in there, but his arms are a little bit wild. Be careful.
Long ball forward from Cher, hung up high into the Southampton half. Bednarek headed it clear only as far as Joelinton, and then Lavia gets an important touch on him, and Lianco can't get the ball under control, and his clearance doesn't go far. Byrne heads it forward down that far left. Newcastle playing from left to right. BBC Radio Solent. Is it fouled by Djenepo again? Free kick to Newcastle, this time wide out on the left-hand side. The Gallagher end roars. Newcastle again tried to take it quickly.
Yeah,
the referee stopped them.
We need to ride this off, Adam.
Yeah, it's about 10 yards from the corner of the left-hand corner of the penalty area. And it's out on the left. Again, Trippier's going to send it. Burns stands head and shoulders above everyone else. He's a threat. Botman's a threat. Shares a threat, and Trippier knows that, and Saints have got to get this right. They're not the biggest defence as they stand there now.
No, I think we should be a little bit brave and come up a little bit high, a couple of yards, Adam.
They're almost level with the penalty spot as Trippier curls it in, and the man gets there at the back post, and somehow it's scrambled away by Lianco. It was almost bundled over the line by the last Newcastle player to get there. It went in slow motion as everybody let it go round, and Sven Botman, who's never scored for Newcastle, almost bundled it over. McCarthy did well to stand still and it hit his legs, and Lianco did brilliantly to clear it away. Free kick, 53rd minute, corner now, curled in, headed up in the air by Bella Kotchap, still not out of the 6-yard box. Then a touch from Bednarek and a great volley away on the turn by Suleimana. Takes the play back into the Newcastle half, and Southampton can clear their lines. It's been all Newcastle so far, and we're going to have to expect the Alamo at some point. Team that have only lost once at home all season, Newcastle, one of 5 Premier League sides who've only lost once at home. Liverpool winning here when Pope was sent off. 2-0. Alcaraz can't get the ball off Bruno Guimaraes. He stepped it up since the start of the second half. He's trying to show his boss now, Joe, because he didn't enjoy that first half.
No, he didn't.
And Newcastle come again. Alexander Isak drifts off the left-hand side, chips it into the penalty area. There's a dummy. Bella Kotchap doesn't fall for it, but the clearance only goes as far as Joelinton crosses. Bella Kotchap heads away again out to the penalty area near the D. Alcaraz heads it back to the edge of the box. Missed Ward-Prowse. Newcastle can attack again. Ball curled in, headed up. Someone clear it, and Suleimana gets it from a good scissor kick clearance, holds it up, and then just belts it up towards halfway. And that invites the fans to roar Newcastle on again. But
we're piling the pressure on us now, Adam.
Here comes Isak off the left-hand side, got behind Djenepo, crossing, surely, and it is. And Newcastle have their equaliser in the 59th minute of the game, 54th minute of the game, and it is Callum Wilson who scores from the cross from the left, and Wilson has his 14th of the season. He's 5th against Southampton, and it hasn't taken Newcastle long to knock the wall down at the start of the second half. Newcastle won, Southampton won, now the test will come.
And Sulemana does really well here. He holds the ball up, he has nowhere to play, plays it up down the side on the left hand side. Newcastle gets it back quickly down the left hand side to Isaac, who gets the ball in, and Wilson is just there to hit his leg, and it goes in an awkward angle past McCarthy, and it's nothing we can do with that. We just needed to defend that first ball. I think Sulemana could have got that ball a little bit further up. He did ever so well holding it up, so I'm not criticising anymore, but because we're so deep we never get out there, Adam, and that's why Newcastle scores with Wilson.
Yeah, that's why I said to you, I wonder if they could bring Adams on to relieve some pressure a bit more alongside him maybe in the second half. Maybe bring Elanusi on the right for Genepo to help Lianco out a bit, because I think Genepo's been struggling since that injury.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that much space, Adam. I've seen a couple of things that which I haven't liked, is that we're giving away space on the side, and we shouldn't be giving away a space to Isaac like that.
But that's why I think maybe a fresh pair of legs might help, but the fact is Newcastle have got a free kick. What's Kieran Trippier going mad because Carl Walker-Peters is running the ball away. Trippier can't put it, he's booking Carl Walker-Peters. Frustration from Southampton, but at least this team's fighting this afternoon, and that I do like. They've been under the cosh since the half time, and they're going to have to deal with this now, Joe. It might be one-way traffic for a few minutes.
I've seen this. What I don't like is that Stuart Armstrong has let the fullbacks play on the outside to Murphy and Isaac on the other side, and Genepo's done the same thing, Adam.
And Genepo's miles away from Isak as he gets goal side of him. Slips Alexander Isak. Genepo has it, can run it away, running into bodies, trying to hold the ball up under all sorts of pressure, loses it to Bruno Guimaraes, who started to run the game, Joe, in the second half. That's been one of the biggest changes. Now there's a free kick against Southampton again, this time against Lianco. Alcaraz is furious. He was going to try and break, and then Newcastle chip it onto Isak again. I thought he'd play up front with Wilson, but he's playing out on the left wing.
He's playing on the left wing, Adam. It's causing us all sorts of problems down there. I think Genepo needs to squeeze him inside, press him, so the pass doesn't go out to him, but goes inside. Yeah,
into bodies. Now Trippier on the right, tackled by Walker-Peters. Scher will get to the rebound, chips it cleverly for Murphy. Walker-Peters needs to get back. Armstrong's there on this near side, just below us on our right hand side. Then a little ball round the corner from Murphy, doesn't find a black and white shirt, and Guimaraes will try and push Bella Kotchap in and forces him to squeeze the ball out of play for a throw to Newcastle, 5 yards from the corner flag. Taken quickly, Trippier gets it back, having given it to Bruno. Held up, out it goes off Armstrong for another throw to Newcastle. 1-1. Temperature of the game has changed since half time. Newcastle have gone at Southampton and they've got their reward. 13th minute of the second half, live on BBC Radio Solent. What we wouldn't do, Joe, for a little breakaway goal now, just calm the place down, shut it up a bit.
We'll lip it deep, but Newcastle have turned the tempo up, Adam. That's the difference. They've just been a little bit quicker. But
got to be brave, though, haven't you? Because you can't sit back for 35-40 minutes, Joe, and hope to get away with a draw. They've got to somehow be brave as Wilson chips it to Isak, comes off his knee, that helps Southampton. Bella Kotchap could clear it, and Isak had his arm up as they clashed, and he's clobbered Bella Kotchap's thigh, maybe, not with his arm, but as they came together after the missed control from Isak, they just bounced off each other and Armel went down.
So we got our tactics perfect first half. I don't know if Stuart Armstrong and Genepo has been told to go inside and give them the width. It doesn't make sense, Adam, because that's where they're good, but you've seen it a couple of times. Trippier's had the ball straight in front of us and he can roll the ball to Murphy on the wing. I thought it's better if Stuart Armstrong squeezes him and makes him play inside.
Yeah, now here on halfway, Joelinton and Ward-Prowse scrabbling for possession. Joelinton gets it out on the left to Isak. Lianco climbs to Ked, but it only comes down for Newcastle again, and the cross early, brilliant with the outside of the boot, and McCarthy did very well to read that. Alex McCarthy comes off his line, gathers it with Callum Wilson daring to score again. He's got 14 now in the Premier League. The last Newcastle player to do that was Demba Ba back in 2011-12. So he's the highest single scorer for Newcastle in the Premier League for 11 years now, and it doesn't feel like he's had that big a season, Callum Wilson. Now, I did say to you at half-time, and Jacob Tanswell from The Athletic, I said, what I'd like Ruben Selles to do, Joe, is at half-time, make a change Newcastle aren't expecting, because we know Eddie Howe's very good and he'll adjust, and he did, and they scored, but Saints haven't changed anything. And I wanted them to bring Adams on or bring Elliot Newson, or do something to change it up, to give Newcastle something to think about. At the moment, they've just got the same Saints they're dealing with, but they've created more of a threat.
Yeah, and it's just because Newcastle's been a bit quicker. So
now that's a good ball from Trippier. McCarthy's back on his line. Murphy pulls it across the box. Brilliant interception from Jan Bednarek, running back towards his own goal. That was sensational. Sulemana spins Cher. He's unlucky because he almost did him there. Newcastle take the throw quickly from beneath us. Tyndall gave the ball to Trippier so he could throw it in early to Bruno. Now it's out on the right wing with Willock. Crosses, deflects, it hangs up into the 6-yard box. No one's touched it. Lianco half clears, and it should be caught or punched by McCarthy. He had to punch it with Bednarek in his way. Back out to Byrne. Newcastle trying to stretch the play. Isak will keep it in on the left wing up against Moussa Djenepo. And Djenepo sticks to his task, but at the expense of a corner. And the atmosphere and the temperature rising again at St James's Park. With an hour gone, it is 1-1 between Newcastle and Southampton. Saints so far in this second half are hanging on. Got to change something up for me, Joe. He should have been proactive at half-time. You know Eddie Howe's going to do something, and he has, but we haven't done anything to counter it yet, tactically. Here comes the corner from the left, whipped in right-footed. Good punch from McCarthy. Under pressure, free kick says Anthony Taylor. He says Sven Botman fouled him. Or was it Fabian Cher? It was Cher. Either way, I just want something from Saints to change the tone of the half.
Yeah,
something.
You're right, but it's just because Newcastle screwed up the tempo a little bit. I mean, it's simple. You got to be on it. You got to be ready for him, and we didn't see him. And I find this weird thing with Stuart Armstrong and Djenepo that is causing us this problem for Murphy and Isak to have too much space at him, and then that's pushing us back.
Almost like they've gone narrow back to the 4-2-2-2. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it seems like it, because he's then changed it and said, Stuart Armstrong, go further in, give them the side. But why give them that side? That worked first half being wide.
The danger came from the width. That's what I say to you, absolutely right. 62nd minute, 1-1.
And we managed to block that pretty well first half, I think. Okay, Gordon had a few chances, but he's come off, so that shows that we dealt with it, I think.
Still in the game, though, into the last half an hour.
We're still in the game.
Saints have to win this, have to go and win at Forest, and then you've got a great escape on. But until that moment, and we're a long way from that now, it's not going to happen. But Kochap screws one off his boot horribly, and it kindly goes back to Alex McCarthy, who I think has had some good authority in there today, Joe, at the back. I feel like a bit more comfortable with McCarthy there than Bazunu. Some of those situations he's come off his line and punched, I'm not sure I'd have backed Bazunu to deal with those. Now everyone's left the ball for everyone else, and Willock says, I'll take it. He's still got it. Walker Peters falls over. Oh, the ball hits the foot of Bednarek and does Saints a huge favour, and then they lash it clear. And now we're going to see the change, but it's Walcott as Sulemana tries to stop Byrne going forward. And then Newcastle do it well down the left wing, and Lianco intercepts the ball. It's out for a Newcastle throw, and Isak pushes him off, and Saints trying every trick in the book to slow the game down, but they're not threatening Newcastle. It's one-way traffic. Here comes the change, and the change we're going to get is Djenepo off, but it's Walcott on, not Elliot Newson. So I'll take that, either one of the two, Joe.
Yeah, I would do that as well. It's just a little bit. But obviously Newcastle is more on the Guimaraes has taken on the responsibility and then played a lot better. But and the problem we have, Adam, is when you give away that much space on the sides, you are going to put yourself under trouble. And I don't know what was said half-time, because the space is so big there, Adam, and it's really worrying.
Here Walcott comes on. Almiron strips off beneath us. Still Newcastle's second highest scorer this season, despite some injury problems before the last few weeks. And Newcastle have a throw, far side as they play from left to right. They're left, hung down there, looking toward the corner flag. Isak tries to keep it in, he can't. It's a goal kick to Southampton, and we're now going to see Almiron, maybe for Murphy. maybe for Willock, we'll see. Eddie Howe's got his arm around the Paraguayan shoulder, having words with him. Shea Adams is still warming up. Can't be too long till he comes on. And Saints are going to try and play out from the back still under this intense pressure and the press from Newcastle. Bella Kotchap needs to launch it clear. Misses Stuart Armstrong. Walker-Peters has it. Armstrong flicks it on, but Trippier can just nudge it down under no pressure. Brian Bruno, tackled by Lavia, excellent. Oh, and Sulemana just falls over. Can't quite stay on his feet. That's such a shame. First time this half that Saints looked at a threat on the break, and he slipped. Ward-Prowse trying to get back in, but he hasn't got the right side of Joelinton, who's still going. Edge of the box, that is another brilliant block from Jan Bednarek. There's no other way to say it. That's 2 this half. Absolutely fantastic defending.
Unbelievable blockage. And again, like you said, with McCarthy, Bella Kotchap and Bednarek, they're standing up now, and they have to, Adam, because the pressure is piling on us. Too much space again. Then Joe Linton gets too much space behind Lavia and Ward-Prowse, and then that's too easy.
He was just inside the box as he shot, and Bednarek had to block it. Another Trippier corner from that far side, the Newcastle left. Whipped in right-footed under the crossbar. That's a good header from Bednarek as well. And Sulemana slipped again. The shot comes in. Good save from McCarthy from Willock's shot. Danger over for now. Needs to slow things down. But we've had we're in the 66th minute. And it is brutal at the moment for Saints. They are clinging on to this 1-1 scoreline. That is for sure.
This riders up. I think we've got to hit the long balls. We've got to beat the back four again now. And we said that first half how much better we were when we hit a few long balls over the top past the line. Now we don't seem like getting the ball past midfield.
Walcott's made a run for Bella Kotchap, and he again just another foot, Joe, and it would have been in a perfect ball, but they're just not hitting it into space. As Isak can drive towards the penalty area now, and he's outside. He's got Willock, crosses early. Header from Bella Kotchap sends it back out to that far side. Lianka helps it on. Walcott with a brilliant flick, and Alcaraz can race away for Southampton. Plenty of black and white shirts in front of him, but he's still going. He's made a 50-yard run here. Oh, and he doesn't get it out to Sulemana. He can't get it. Just can't play the final ball right. That's happened so many times today. And now both players miss a long clearance to Newcastle, and it falls kindly for the Magpies, and it's Isak in the penalty area, shot, and another block from Bednarek from the angle, behind for a corner. The game opening up end to end, and if only Carlos Alcaraz could find that last ball. He had Sulemana going, and still Almiron waits to come on.
And it's very open the other way, but like we have said a couple of times, get that ball over the back four and they will be in trouble, Adam. And that would take us out of trouble.
Especially now that they think they're in control and they're playing higher up.
And they're gambling, they're going for it. So there's a gamble from Newcastle that can cost them.
But that's what annoys me. There's more space to play the ball in, and they keep playing it to bodies. In comes the corner from the left. High one, swung to the back post this time, nodded down by a Newcastle shirt. Half cleared by Sulemana. Willock plays it square. It's been pushed out wide to this near side though. Botman manages to find the player, and that's lovely back to Willock. He might fancy it. He chips it to the back post instead, and the header tipped over. Corner. Comfortable enough for McCarthy, but he had to put it over the bar to make sure. And it's another corner to Newcastle. And the pressure keeps ramping.
We're giving away too much space, and it's too easy to cross a simple ball in, which causes us a lot of problems there, Adam. But it's like we're not even going for it. We're just standing back waiting for them to cross it instead of running up to it. So
here comes the corner, right under the crossbar. It's gone past everybody. McCarthy missed the punch. Newcastle players missed the ball. They want some sort of corner or some penalty that's going to be a goal kick. Southampton, everyone breathe for a minute. Bournemouth have gone 3-1 up through Dominic Solanke. 3-1 up, and it is Almiron for Murphy. And more danger for Southampton to deal with. More of a threat. But Saints have to come out with a plan here to do something about it.
There is a plan, but I'm not sure.
They're just sitting back and defending.
I'm not sure the plan he's doing now is the right one, because it looks like he's going to put Maitland-Niles and Armstrong on him.
But there's no counter punch, is there? It's actually just trying to soak up pressure. I haven't seen much of a counter attack. One, which almost went right. Just need an opportunity. Lianco again. There was loads more space wide of Byrne down that touchline, but Byrne intercepted the pass forward for Walcott. Saints do have a throw. Now the double change is coming, and it is a slightly odd one. I mean, And I say
it's
that
the
'cause Adam
wrong
Armstrong's
choice,
coming
Ruben.
on.
It is. You can't take Sulemana off. He's been absolutely brilliant today.
They might say he's running out of puff. You know what it's like in the modern game. No matter where you're playing, if the analysts are checking how far you've run, you never know. So actually, what we thought might happen, Joe, is happening. Lianco's getting a breather. Hasn't played a lot of football in recent months. So Maitland-Niles coming on for him is a natural change for me. And Adam Armstrong for Sulemana is one I wouldn't make. I'll be honest. I think I'd be more likely to bring Alcaraz off if I was changing one of them. But here we go, another change as well is Elyounoussi on for Stuart Armstrong. Now, big calls from Ruben Sellers. He's talking to Sulemana. He no way he want to come off. He knows the game's opening up, Sulemana.
It is the wrong choice, Adam.
Yeah.
It's a definite wrong choice.
Okay, Saints fans, you'll have your thoughts on that later. Let's see how the game pans out first. Stuart Armstrong's also played well. He's going to get booked on his way out, by the way. Stuart Armstrong, as he leaves the pitch. He won't care, he can't get a red, he's in the dressing room. Elyounoussi comes on, so I don't mind the fresh legs, full back, fresh legs wide. But Adam Armstrong and Alcaraz as a pair, I think Sulemana's been Southampton's biggest threat with his pace, and I'd rather have brought Adams on for Alcaraz and had Sulemana and Adams up front, so Sulemana could play off Adams. But that's not happened. Joe's looking worried. We'll find out at home. You'll find out as we go through the game. But the only good news I can give you is that the clock is ticking. It's still Newcastle 1, Southampton 1.
We got a first corner.
Yeah, we've had nearly 26 minutes in the second half. This is as high up the pitch as Saints have been since the half time. Literally, they've been camped in their own half, it feels like, for 25 minutes. But in the 72nd minute, they have an outswinging corner from the right. Ward-Prowse to the near post. Good, strong header away from Newcastle. Ward-Prowse might let it go out, or he might decide to play it. He's played it. Lavier's the last man back. He needs to do something with it, and he's chipped it down that wing, looking for Ward-Prowse to carry on. Byrne will hook it away. He decided he couldn't usher it out of play, and that's done well, Saints. They've got a throw in 10 yards from the corner flag. It's been absolutely one-way traffic since half-time, and Southampton finally gets some respite. And they get the ball down the other end. 65% possession. Newcastle, by the way, when we got to half-time, they'd had 5 shots and on target. They've now had 14 shots. That's 9 already in the second half, Joe. And Saints are giving the ball away up, and that's a good recovery. Oh, I thought Lavier got the ball. Now, the referee, I think, has made a mistake here. He's fouled Wilson. I honestly thought he got the ball. I'm not saying that out of any bias. But I think he's blown his whistle a bit prematurely there.
You got a screen there, Adam. You have.
Oh no, I've got a screen, mate, and he didn't get him. He didn't get the ball. So I apologise to Anthony Taylor. But the way the ball went away, it looked like he got it with his feet.
I thought it was.
Did he book him or not in the end?
He did book him. Yeah. I thought it looked like a clear booking, but I didn't see him.
Your eyesight's better than mine.
No, you got glasses.
No, that's why your eyesight's better than mine. Anyway, Lavia goes into the book, along with Walker-Peters and Bednarek. So 2 of the back 4 booked and the sitting midfielder. Saints need to be careful. They've used 4 subs. Clearance from Cher should be dealt with by Bella Kotchap. Nicely, calmly chested it down. Walker-Peters then takes 3 touches before playing it back to McCarthy. And I'd rather him have just played it back to him straight away and given him a chance to do something with it. In the end, he had to clear it on the hurry up. Adam Armstrong playing against his hometown club, the club where he started. Some Saints fans, being cynical, won't be surprised he didn't score for Newcastle in his 20-odd appearances for them. But now they're under pressure, Saints. Isak into the penalty, it flicks. 3 shots! Wilson scores! Can't see a flag. We'll wait for any signal from VAR. But that Callum Wilson's second goal since coming off the bench at half-time. His 15th of the season, and Newcastle have the lead. And it's Callum Wilson at the double off the bench to break Saints' hearts. 2-1, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's been coming all second half, Adam, and this is too simple.
I think he's off. I've got the screen here. I think he might be off when VAR.
I hope it is. I hope it is, because I didn't see that as offside, but I hope it is, Adam.
Ball just flicked on, and he might be offside. Now the linesman's still standing. We're waiting for VAR. I think it was off, but I haven't had a detailed look. VAR is looking. I'll get an idea before you at home here. I think they're waiting to see who it comes off, whether it comes off the Saints player last and falls into Wilson's path. That's the bit they're looking at.
Yeah, that's what I didn't see.
I think he's looking at it. I would say he definitely looks offside. It's whether the ball came off Bella Kotchap or the Newcastle player. But if it's on the lines of offside, from the angle I'm getting on my screen, everybody, it looks offside to me.
But this is the problem. Long ball up, flick it on. Newcastle pick it up. I think it's Trippier.
By the way, no one was marking him. He was 3 yards clear.
Fantastic ball to Wilcox, who had run inside on his own place. Actually, a bad ball to Isaac on the left side. Isaac tries to find a play in the middle, and he kind of rolls in, and I try and have a shot, and it rolls to Wilson, who you think is offside, Adam?
I think so. I'm waiting for to see the lines from VAR, but we're not seeing them. I think they're looking at whether it came off the Saints player last, and that will save him, I think. If it did, I think it's offside. But the VAR official needs to have a look at this. Robert Jones, the Merseyside man. I don't know what the delay is. He looks well offside. I can only believe they're checking if it hit. What's the rule, Joe? If it came off Bella Kotchap last,
if it hits him on the way there, then it is offside in my eyes. Because
it's accidental, if he's not playing the ball, passing it.
Accidental or deflection, it doesn't stop the ball's direction or just changes it. That means you are offside.
Taking an awfully long time. It is offside. Everybody and Southampton, everyone listening, relax. It is offside. And you should hear a cheer from the Saints fans any moment now. I don't know why it's taken Robert Jones so long, to be honest. There we go. It is offside. I knew before everyone else.
Happy Saints fans up on the top corner.
It is 1-1. And here comes Shea Adams. That had to be the change.
I have to say, why didn't Shea Adams come on in the first change there, Adam?
Instead of Armstrong, could have just saved yourself a change.
Really weird for me. That just shows it.
I mean, look, what's the difference in that? About 5-10 minutes between the subs?
Well, but at least we have now a striker up there, which I think is more decent as a football player, and that's what we need.
Well,
I guess we're living a hope again.
We're in the 77th minute.
This could be a steal now, because now I have lipid belief that we can actually create and have a goal chance, because we need a proper striker on the pitch.
Well, I thought Adams for Alcaraz would have been the change instead of wasting the sub for Armstrong. He might as well have left everything else the same, I think. It's like he's overcomplicated it. I'll ask him about it after the game, everybody, but it is still 1-1. The Saints have to survive here. Ideally get a second, but they have to survive. Ball out of play beneath us on our right. At least, again, like at Arsenal, they're doing the club proud with the performance, Joe. Yeah, they're just such an annoying side that they can do this against Arsenal, against Spurs, against Man United, against Newcastle last 2 months, and be absolutely insipid against Crystal Palace and West Ham and Bournemouth. I mean, it just does your head in.
And we talked about it half-time, Adam, and we keep, everyone here says it. It's so frustrating. How can we play this well first half, and then we do this, the games we play at home? It's just really frustrating. You're so poor at home, and then come here, and then first half performance was fantastic.
12.5 minutes to go. Here comes Almiron on the pitch now. Held into the place to Joe Ellington. Held it up back to goal. Helped on midway through the Saints half out to the left of Burn, and helped on again to that far side. Here come Newcastle once more. Willock, low ball in, driven against Maitland-Niles. Corner Newcastle. Saints are out of changes. They made all 5. Frankly, they've wasted one for me. They should have left Sulemana on, brought Adams on for Alcaraz, and not bothered with the Armstrong for Sulemana change. It's one of those, Joe, you'd probably end up with the doctor saying he's got to come off because he's run his miles or something stupid.
Absolutely. If it's from a computer, it will annoy me.
Yeah, 78 minutes gone. Here comes the corner from the left. Don't flick down and in the net this time. And Newcastle have scored. Or can't see who got the last touch.
I think it's an own goal, Adam.
I'll get another look at it on the screen, but the players are focusing around one man on the far side, and just 2 minutes after having a goal ruled out, they get a goal. Isak, Trippier the corner taker, Dan Burn all celebrating, but who they're going to give the goal to? Oh, it might have come off. Southampton player.
I think it's Byrne heads it, but I think it takes a deflection on the Southampton player.
Theo Walcott has scored an own goal, and after us just getting our hope up after VAR, it's quickly extinguished again in the 79th minute. It is 2-1.
And the body language is not good here now, Adam. I'm a little bit worried because that goal probably kills the game for Newcastle.
I mean, they're saying Bruno scored that goal, but he hasn't, Joe, has he?
No, he hasn't. Not for me. He didn't even celebrate like he scored. So it's an own goal by Theo Walcott.
Oh dear. So frustrating as Walker-Peters, dispossessed by Joe Ellington, plays it inside, wasn't the best pass, and this time Maitland-Niles clears it. Walker-Peters heads it on nicely, actually, up over halfway, and forces Trippier to go back to Nick Pope, who just hammers it 80 yards down the pitch. Players all watch and wait. Maitland-Niles holds off the defender, and then suddenly it's going to be 3-1, and there it is. Saints thought there was a foul. Callum Wilson finishes round the keeper easily enough, but it all stemmed from that collision between Willock and Maitland-Niles, and Maitland-Niles thought he was fouled. The long ball, everyone hesitated. Willock came from an onside position, and Wilson does have his second, and it's 2 in a minute, and it's game over, and it's Newcastle 3, Southampton 1.
I said it just a couple of seconds ago. The body language looked on the Saints player that they had lost the game on 2-1. Trippier plays the ball just back to Pope. Pope just launches it. Wilson is technically offside first there, Adam. But
well, I think Willock held Maitland-Niles' arm as they were colliding for the ball.
No, and then he gets involved afterwards when Maitland-Niles is not clearing the ball or winning the ball, and he's too slow, and you've got to be stronger than that one-on-one. You can ask the question about Bednarek, and Belakochev hasn't dropped off as well, but this is kind of a sign of things falling apart, Adam.
Wilson coming on at half-time for Anthony Gordon. Eddie Howe got that right. He moved Isak out wide, Joe. He put Wilson down the middle. He scored twice.
And Wilcox made a run in behind, didn't he, when the long ball came?
Yeah, he scored twice, and one of them came from Isak's cross from the left. So he's got it right at half-time. What we didn't see that I wanted at half-time was Saints to make a proactive change and give Eddie Howe something to worry about.
Yeah, and we haven't, and we've been pinned back, and the tempo from the players, well, the Newcastle players, that's turned the tempo up, that's the difference. But we did one tactical mistake in my eyes. We gave away space on the side.
Yeah, I must remember to ask you about that. Long ball in for Newcastle. McCarthy comes off his line and gathers it. The game has disappeared in the space of 3 minutes. And Elianusi, tackled inside his own half, gets it back to Walker-Peters. He clears right-footed up to Shea Adams, holds it up, just puts a heavy touch on it, gives enough of it to Joe Ellington, who's almost playing as a sitting midfielder alongside Bruno now. I don't think Adam Armstrong's touched the ball since he's come on, Joe.
No, he hasn't touched the ball since Arsenal, has he?
No, he hasn't touched the ball since Arsenal. That's the line of the season from Joe Tessam. He hasn't touched the ball since Arsenal. He didn't touch it much against Bournemouth. 83rd minute. You made us all smile, Joe, at least, in the face of this miserable second half.
Bit rude for Adam Armstrong, but it's kind of true.
It is true, yeah. Chip ball cleverly from Bruno. Now Newcastle are just swelling and playing and pushing on Saints, and Isak's got great feet, and a recovering tackle from Theo Walcott saves the day inside his penalty area. There has been some amazing individual defending in this second half from certain Saints players. That was a great tackle. Bednarek's made 3 brilliant blocks, and it's all to no avail because Newcastle have just overwhelmed them in the second half, and the Saints have had no answer to it. It's 3-1, and we've got 7 minutes left, 6.5 minutes of normal time left, everyone.
And let's see a link up between Isak and Wilcox on that side. It's really good, and they're causing us all sorts of problems. Isak has gone a bit wider, and that's giving Wilcox a little bit more space inside, and that's where we're seeing all the joy for Newcastle on that left-hand side.
Corner from the left, right-footed. Trippier hangs it. They've caused trouble from these. Good clearance from Shea Adams, headed back into the box by Newcastle, away by Bella Kotchap. He's had some good moments as well. Another cross, hung up to the back post, dropped by everybody. Shea does well to keep it in play. Finds Almiron on the right. Little 1-2. All the tricks coming out the book now. Bruno, as Kyle Walker-Peters did really well. He's bundled over. Referee Anthony Taylor says it's a foul by Fabian Shea. He's not happy with that decision, but Walker-Peters did very well. It's a free
well, I
kick to
can
Southampton.
see a little bit why he wasn't happy, because I think he tackled him fair.
Yeah. But we'll take the free kick. If Bella Kotchap can hit this up the pitch and Saints can score, we'll have an exciting finish. So, anyway, he's giving it to McCarthy to do that. He sends it up over halfway. Easy header in the far side. But actually, Kieran Trippier, not sure why he was over at left back, but he was. Ruben Sellers still screaming, doing his best. But I'm afraid the Gallagher end in the second half has sucked the ball into the net and driven Newcastle on to a level Southampton couldn't live with. And it will be a 22nd defeat of the Premier League season for Saints. And we're 1-0 at half-time. I'm starting to think about that Forest game, whether they could be 3 points behind them. But it was too much to expect and hope for, maybe. Long clearance from McCarthy. Headed on by Shea Adams. Walcott was going in behind. We've seen none of that in the second half. That's what we wanted to see. That's why I wanted Adams on at half-time. So they could play with a bit of release and have somebody there to aim at when we knew they'd come under pressure. Just wanted that move anticipated, Joe, not happening after 2-1 or 3-1. As Saints tried to tackle Alexander Isak, the ball sticks to him. He finds Bruno into Joelinton, back to Bruno! Oh, that was fantastic football from Newcastle. That would have been a contender for goal of the month, and he's curled it wide of the post. Eddie Howe applauds his players. Isak's quick feet, little hold up from Joelinton, who dropped it off for Bruno after a 1-2, and he just curled it wide. Glorious football.
Very good football, quick play, and this is what confidence and goal gives you in football. When you score a couple of goals, you can play like that. Isaac, what a good play he's turning into, Adam.
He's only 23 still as well. They paid £63 million for him from Sociedad, but he's a very good player. Shea Adams on the ball on the left wing, goes past the defender, play on, and he gets tackled eventually by Joelinton. Joelinton's there, and they're olaying now, the Newcastle fans. This hurts. The ball, as they look, close in on a 4th victory against Southampton this season. But I'll tell you what, they weren't being this cocky when it was 1-0 at half-time, Joe. It was quiet. Bella Kotchap, good challenge on Bruno, no problem there. But these have been the biggest difference for me since the second half started. That in the first half, Ward-Prowse and Lavia were competing with Bruno and Joelinton well. Second half, Bruno went up a gear for me.
What Eddie Howe did kind of wrong, if you see it from Newcastle point of view, is that he glued on the midfield players to Ward-Prowse, Lavia and Alcaraz. He hasn't done it second half, and he's put Isaac wide, and I think that's worked marvellous for them today.
Yeah, they were getting turned and done by Saints midfielders, and he's altered it around. But that's why I wanted Sellers to do something at half-time, because we knew how he's a good enough coach to make adjustments, Joe, and I think Saints should have come out and sprung a surprise on him.
Yeah, but it's in the two sides. Tactically, it was good decision making first half.
Yeah.
Second half,
but when you're
totally
going to change it, you get to
game.
half-time 1-0 up. You've got to do something, because you know Newcastle are coming. And I wanted them
I didn't
to do
see why the changes were made. I don't get it. I know we were under pressure, Adam.
Adams out on the right, plays it inside to Lavia, closed down quickly by Almiron, finds Walker-Peters. I'm not sure he'll keep that in. Oh, it's thoroughly depressing. That moment, just for poor Carl Walker-Peters, who's battled hard all afternoon. Lavia with a tired pass that missed him, went by him and went out of play, and Saints just had a promising position then as well. Ruben Sellers urging the players to lift themselves, but you would suspect, as we're in the 89th minute now, it's too late. 2 minutes to go, normal time, plus stoppage time. 2 more changes coming from Newcastle. 2 Scottish internationals coming on. In shape of Matt Rich and Elliot Anderson.
Newcastle is toying with us at the moment. They're just playing the ball around like they do it on the training ground.
It's too late, that's why. Bella Kotchap can't get there. Wilson's on a hat-trick. He's driving into the box. Bella Kotchap recovered well to get a legal touch in, and Walker-Peters did very well to stay calm as he tackled Wilson, got the ball off him and found Romeo Lavia. Oh, his ball goes behind Elianusi and in front of Walker-Peters, and suddenly opens up again for Willock, and Willock shoots, and that's another stupendous bit of defending from Jan Bednarek. You could not ask any more from him this afternoon. What a block that is, because that was 4-1 written all over it. Brilliant defending in the face of adversity from Bednarek.
And Lavia gives the ball away. He tries to play it. I think it was Elianusi who just runs away from him. You got to help him out a little bit as well. But again, he's in charge of the ball, so he shouldn't play it if he sees him running.
Well, he played it behind Elianusi. He played it in front, too far in front of Walker-Peters. Yeah. He played it between them.
So you play yourself into trouble. So Lavia, that's on you. You are in charge of the ball when you have it.
It's a tired pass, that's for sure. Newcastle taking their time over this corner. They could get Anderson and Ritchie on now. I think they might try and do that. Stuart Atwell's got the board. I think they might take the corner first. Let's see. And it's going to be an outswinger from this right-hand side in front of the Gallagher end. Here it comes, curled out towards the penalty spot. Good header away by Bednarek again. And the referee stops the game from injury to... Is it Bella Kotchap again?
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 6 minutes stoppage time to be added.
But Saints haven't created one problem really in this second half of Newcastle, Joe. When I look at my notes, it's been all Newcastle, literally one-way traffic. Pope has had nothing to do in the second half.
No, and Pope almost had an assist as well. It is frustrating, and you got to be ready for the change of tempo. You can't think that Newcastle is coming down. Tactically, I'm very disappointed with some of the things Ruben has done, and especially giving away the space on the sides. You know Newcastle are good down the sides, and we kind of blocked that first half.
Isak coming off for Matt Ritchie, gets applause, the big Swede. He's had a great week, and Willock's had a great week as well. Elliot Anderson comes on for him. Joe Willock started against Everton, and Isak came off the bench at Goodison Park, and he started today, and he's played well. And Bournemouth are 4-1 up against Leeds United.
Yeah, and he has kind of taken off his two best players, Willock and Isak. Second half have been, I think they've been Newcastle's best players second half.
Now, ball pulled back, ball in, turned shot from Elliot Anderson, who almost had a shot with his first touch. But you're right, Newcastle now playing at will, playing their own game here at the moment, Joe. And the ball out off Walcott for a throw into Newcastle, back near the halfway line. So at the moment, Bournemouth going to 39 points, level with Chelsea, who have 2 games in hand, a point behind Palace, who have 40. So they're all safe now. Palace, Chelsea, obviously, are safe, 2 games in hand, as Newcastle get the ball, and then Guimaraes, after doing well, gets just tagged by Adams, but it still falls for Newcastle, midway inside the Saints half on this right wing. Almiron plays it in field to Joelinton. Ward-Prowse then picks it up from a wayward pass. Shea Adams leads back to goal, can't go anywhere. Lavia looking for an option, finds Walker-Peters on this left wing, right beneath us. Walker-Peters with 3 black and white shirts around him as Newcastle continue to press and work the ball hard despite their 3-1 lead. Wolves 37 points on 14th, West Ham 34, 15th. They might feel they're safe because they've got a 4-point cushion to Leeds and Forest. Leeds have lost to Bournemouth. So you think it's now 5 teams at the bottom. Saints 6 points behind Leeds and Forest, with Forest next, and stupidly they're still in the hunt. They're still in the hunt, Saints. Massive game tomorrow night. Ball out of play on the far side here. But tomorrow night, of course, it's Leicester against Everton, 2nd and 3rd bottom. And if they were, for example, to draw, it would leave 3-point teams on 30 points, 1 on 29, and Saints on 24 with Forest next. So long ball over the top for Callum Wilson, cleared by Alex McCarthy. I think McCarthy's done well today. He's got 3 goals, but I think he's had a good game, Joe. Punched, come off his line, done what he can. As Guimaraes looks out to the right wing, and the ball gets its way through to Shea, who's playing like a winger. Back to Wilson, hits the crossbar to deny him the hat-trick, and then it bounces on the bar again and goes behind for a goal kick. And that would have been the icing on the cake for the former Cherries man.
And what an impact he has had for Newcastle. 2 goals, and he probably should have scored again. It's a cutback and he hits the post and then hits the bar. Hits the bar twice.
Right.
Should have scored at him.
Just remember, everybody, reaction to come. We just need Saints to be put out of misery now. That was the 94th minute that Wilson hits the bar. And Saints, with 2 minutes left, need to be allowed to get off the pitch without any more damage being done. It was a very brave performance in the first half as Newcastle try and get it through to Wilson again, but Bednarek does well, sticks to the task, volleys it clear. But it's now Newcastle just almost playing at will and just attacking the Saints penalty area, because there's no doubt the third goal knocked the life and the stuffing out of Saints, and since then it's just been like, get off the pitch, Joe, really, as soon as you can.
Yeah, because they've been playing to the right of me. I haven't hardly looked your way today.
Yeah, exactly. It's been literally one-way traffic the second half. And Saints haven't had an answer to Newcastle upping the intensity and a half-time rollicking they probably got from Eddie Howe. Now, Anderson on that far side, the substitute, the young Scotsman, trying to play it, goes out for a Saints goal kick. We've got just over a minute left. Now, your reaction, please. Joe's going to stay with you while I go and get reaction downstairs, so stay with us for that reaction from the tunnel, and I'll have a word with Ruben Sellers, maybe, one of the players as well. Che Adams tried to play a ball across the halfway line, intercepted. Newcastle come again, this time down the left. Matt Ritchie has it, plays it behind him and holds it up to Anderson. Still going to bring Paul Dummett on now, as Kieran Trippier makes a run out to this right hand side. No one spotted him, but Saints have broken the play up and Lavia can bring it away. Thought he was tagged there by Matt Ritchie. Saints have it on halfway. Adams again. Walker-Peters still venturing forward, calling for the ball. I like that. The attitude's very good still, Joe. And they've been game, Saints. They've been game for the much pass in this match. They just haven't been able to deal with Newcastle in the second half and their intensity. But it's certainly not one of the worst performances of the season by any stretch, Joe.
No, but
in all 4 games against Newcastle, their class is told, isn't it?
But individually, Newcastle is better.
Yeah, exactly. And over 4 matches, you win 4 times. I think we can safely say you're right. And Walker-Peters has done brilliant. He's gone past Trippier. He's into the box. And then the ball just caught under Elianusi's feet. Tries to cross it. Goes behind Walker-Peters. And now all he can do is run back again. And that is it. Southampton's 22nd defeat of the Premier League season. They remain rock bottom, 6 points from safety. Newcastle United up to 65 points, and they go marching on towards the Champions League. Saints still heading towards the Championship, and Joe Tessam 3-1 in the end, but at half time they gave us hope at least. In the end, it panned out how we thought it would.
Yeah, well, the first half was tactically very good. We had good players in the right position. But then you got to be ready for second half. And we seemed to do some strange tactics in my eyes. I might be wrong at it, but it looked like we were giving away the side to Murphy and Isaac on the side. Just let them play at the bottom and they could turn and take us on the sides, and that caused a lot of problems. Obviously Newcastle turned the tempo massively second half, and the impact that Wilson had coming on obviously made a difference. And it's just the individual skills and the tempo, and Guimaraes turned up the tempo, and Isaac and Willock on the left hand side was dominant second half, and we couldn't deal with it.
It's very loud here, everyone, in case you can't tell. I can hardly hear Joe talk. What I do know is that he's got a lot more to say to Jono. I want your reaction, please, on the WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Putting Solent as the first word. Text us 81333. Putting Solent as the first word, or you can text 81333. You can tweet us at Solent Sport. It was a brave effort in the first half and a slow capitulation in the second for Southampton. We've been here twice this season and Saints have lost both times. I'm not sure when we'll be back here again. It might be not for a year or two. Full time, Newcastle 3, Southampton 1.